I just realised this is red Kobold Kingdom, and I have blue kobolds.
It's okay, we can just use our imagination.
What if the kobolds are colorblind and they assume they're red?
I just feel like the kobolds in my 2 other games I've ran have both been red kobolds. Why is it red default? Especially when we're doing like an ice campaign, definitely be blue ones.
Well, aren't blue kobolds in the desert with blue dragons?
I have no idea what the D&D stereotype is. But they can be any damn colour I want them to be. Why the hell would you put blue ones in the desert? That doesn't make any fucking sense. It'd be brown
Because when
or
they
sand coloured.
because when they fly, they blend in with the sky.
That's the same everywhere.
I think it's like, wouldn't it be white kobolds in the snow?
Yeah. You could have white ones. Blue is also kind of icy.
That's a good point. Why don't blue dragons live in the ocean?
Yeah, why is blue not water? Doesn't make any sense. I did have a crystal dragon in one of my games before. That was kind of cool. It was like trapped in a lake that became glass, and it was all made of crystal.
So I got a little held up there.
Unacceptable. 10 demerits for whatever fucking wizard house you are.
Dum dum dum.
Or whatever else Harry Potter crap there is.
There are too many to even count.
Not a fan of that franchise at all. Nothing to do with the author's misgivings. That's fucking separate issue.
I think Harry Potter's just been oversaturated at this point.
It was oversaturated when it fucking came out, man. It wasn't that. I think it's just because, I don't know if it was you guys that talked about this before, but there was a dearth of sort of good fantasy films, stuff for kids for a long while. Because you had tons of it in the 80s. In the 90s, just nothing, really. And then you kind of had Lord of the Rings, but that wasn't really kids as such. And then Harry Potter just kind of filled that niche that had been empty for fucking ages.
I blame Neverending Story with its weird CGI monsters.
Neverending was great, man.
Or the Labyrinth.
Neverending, Labyrinth is amazing. What are you talking about, man? That's the kind of stuff that they needed and they didn't have. That and Dark Crystal and Legend. There's a whole bunch of stuff in these.
Oh no, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying that the monsters, like, they're all that weird CGI claymation. It's weird.
They're not. They're not. Most of them are like actual physical effects.
There's a lot of big puppet things. It's Jim Henson's or something did a lot of it.
Yeah.
I think.
What was this called? Henson something Factory it was called. But yeah, they did all the a lot of the visual effects and stuff.
Now I'm thinking of Jim Henson voicing that giant dragon from Neverending Story.
To be fair, I didn't really like Neverending Story as much when I was a kid because it had music in it, I think. Like songs or something which I wasn't as much a fan of. No, it wasn't musical. I'm talking about. I didn't like it as much. I like Legend. Legend was good, man. Dark Crystal. Labyrinth was the best. And Labyrinth did have songs, but they were good songs. But yeah, I think that's kind of where Harry Potter fit in because they tried to do Narnia, and those films were fucking boring as shit, man.
You know what they need to do? We need a new Discworld movie or a new Discworld cartoon.
Or just Discworld in general. I've never read Discworld, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, Discworld would have been a much better series to do, from what I know about it, than Harry Potter. There's a lot more originality there. It's a lot more clever. More clever. So, you know what I mean? There's a lot more layers to it and shit, man. From what I understand.
You gotta remember, Discworld is about a story about a giant disc on the back of 4 elephants on the back of a giant turtle.
Yeah. Then
the living personification.
which are on top of turtles, which are on top of turtles.
Yeah.
I just read a bunch of stuff in Wiki about death and how death's portrayed in the trolls, and the slab is the drug that the trolls take and stuff like that, man. There's a lot of cool stuff in it. But, you know, I mean, that was more quirky. Whereas Harry Potter is just like, hey, a bunch of rich English kids go off to a private school, and instead of being subjected to abuse, they've got magic. What a twist!
But they still get abused on.
Yeah, but it's a fun magic kind of abuse. It's not, you know, cough cough Jimmy Savile. It's not quite in the same tier. Yeah, I don't get I mean, I get the Harry Potter thing, but I watched it and I was like, this is very twee, like all British fucking things are. But when you look at the other offerings, I mean, those films were far better production and writing than all the other kids' fantasy stuff that was trying to get pushed out at the time. What was the other one? It was fucking... I'm sure we were talking about this, or maybe it was my other group was talking about this, for in Eragon, the Narnia, and then there was like something about the lightning gods or something. It was some kid in the fucking Greek gods. It was one as well.
That's the Jackson one. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So there was a whole bunch of them at that time. They're all garbage, man.
They're trying to refix that one. Supposedly they're doing a series of that, like just obviously it's still on books, but they're keeping it more in line in a sense, rather than the way the movie's done it.
I mean, I think the feeling of it is like CGI crap, and 5 years down the line it looks terrible. Instead of doing like live action stuff with people in prosthetics and makeup and all that.
I think it's because a lot of those, they decided that the author, for some reason, halfway through decided to turn it into a tragedy.
I mean, that's what gave them sort of stakes. That's the problem with a lot of kids stuff now as well. There's no stakes in it. Or like Marvel, the stakes are so high all the time that it becomes irrelevant. And then you throw in multiverse and then none of it matters.
Yeah, I mean, how many times do you want to watch I'm gonna destroy the world for some arbitrary reason?
Because just join the queue. It's around the corner through the shops, and then down that line there.
You can do it, but you've got to like bring the scale down again, and then to the character, and then build it up. Do you know what I mean? You can't just repeatedly just have end of world villain who just gets smooshed in the third act every single time. Or you could just do it like in our games where fucking it just continues on until everyone gets bored.
Or dies.
Very rarely everyone dies in my games. In the last campaign, that's everyone died. That was kind of like an epilogue, almost.
Yeah, I think everyone's slowly starting to get tired of all the Marvel hype right now.
I don't think people are like tired of the Marvel as such. I mean, they are in a sense because of the oversaturation, because Disney's pushing it for their channel. But it's the stories just and the characters just aren't as interesting, and that's what people were bored of. I think if they were still pushing them out and they still had that kind of quality that some of it, not all of, but some of the earlier ones had, people would be more forgiving. But the last few have been just kind of like blah. Because it's just it feels like they're throwing everything at you. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, why care? You know.
Yeah, like I think Ant-Man would be better if they did it more in the comics, like where he's still Hank Pym, but he's just slowly going insane because he thinks he's better than everyone.
The other aspect of it as well, because it's Disney and it's so family friendly, all of the sort of edgier aspects that exist in the comics and with the characters is toned down or just kind of forgotten about. And you lose a lot with that, and that's why I'm not really looking forward to them doing X-Men, which I really love, because X-Men has a lot of that. It's all about, you know, people being racist and demonising the other and being bigoted and all that kind of stuff, and it's got a lot of like inter-character play and different morals, and there's an edginess to it, do you know what I mean? Different philosophies about how to fucking like tackle discrimination and stuff like that. And Disney isn't going to handle any of that well.
I don't think Disney's gonna they're not gonna use like Mr. Sinister or the the most PG villain they have is Magneto in Apocalypse, just destroying the world.
And Apocalypse is supposed to be like a supremacist. Magneto was a fucking like supremacist as well. Like there's
Yeah, but you can have one like Mr. Sinister who wants to genetically alter people or just kidnap people to make an army of mutants.
yeah, I mean he's a stand-in for eugenics and Nazi philosophy and all that as well, man. I mean that's what I mean. There's a lot of allegories there that they're just not really going to play on. I mean, if they have Mr. Sinister show up, they'll kill him in one movie. What to do?
Which is annoying because Mr. Sin is one of the more interesting ones.
They've got X-Men's got tons of interesting bad guys, man. I mean, Marvel and Total does, but they just waste them. Fucking Christian Bale playing the the God Killer guy. He was really fucking like cool the way he was introduced, and that could have been a really interesting storyline with him. But he's in the movie for like 5 seconds, and then when they go to the world that he's kind of in control of, it's really sinister and creepy. And then they wash past that in fucking like 5 minutes as well.
Yeah, they're gonna run into problems after they've killed every villain in just one movie.
Well, multiverse, they'll just bring them back with a different actor. Then once it's all been done, they'll wait like 6 months and then they'll reboot the whole fucking thing.
They're trying to do the DC idea. Says, let's do Flashpoint. Flashpoint resets everything. Reset the world.
Well, they had to because they'd ran that into the ground, yeah.
I don't know, I think the best way they redid DC was just having a giant worm eating the universe and just exploding into a new one.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stories and characters in there, but you need to like bring the scale down again so you actually care about the characters and the stories that you're watching. If you're just introducing new ones all the time, it's like, why should I care about this one? You know what I mean? Build it up, spend the time, you know what I mean?
I'm not looking forward to when they do Secret Wars. I can just picture that going badly.
It's already kind of been going on because they've got the Krull, is it they're called? They're already kind of in it doing their stuff.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
without
I think
Doctor
that-
Doom and the Fantastic Four, it's just not the same.
I think they also sort of made them more sort of a good guys in a sense in a lot of it. So I'm not sure how they're sort of planning to.
No, it's
Yeah.
the Krull have like a civil war, so there's good guy ones and bad guy ones. That's as far as I understand it. That is what it was like in the comics as well. So the ones that are in contact with each other are like the kind of quote unquote good guy ones, and then there's the more evil ones.
Well, wasn't the entire reason they came to Earth in the comics was because they wanted to kill the Phoenix?
Probably.
No, I thought it's because Earth was like a strategic point type thing or something. It's like a way to make a portal or something, so they can strategically tackle any place in the world or something like that. It's like
Some MacGuffin bullshit. Yes.
Yeah,
You there, Drac? Yeah.
Yeah, I've been here the whole time.
Turn your thing up. I got your thing cranked right up there. Man.
I've been here the whole time.
Right. Anyway, let's go. So last time we left, yous got Thurin and the group from the Knolls, brought them back, although there wasn't many of them. And when you came back to town, fuck, I can't remember. There wasn't any reaction to you bringing back the demon, was there? And by that I mean Alex's character.
no, I think there wasn't any sort of reaction to it.
Nah, everyone thought that lady was crazy.
Right, okay. I can't remember. I should really go back to listen to things before the next week. Anyway, so yeah, you came back and Thurin was going to stay and look after Rorik's daughter that was getting left behind, but Rorik had already been convinced by the image of his dead wife to go on the journey and travel back home to his mother. And I think you guys were deciding what your next step was. Because he's going to start hiking home, basically.
What you call it? I think we were going to rest up in here for a week to heal up. We never did all the resting stuff, but we were going to rest here for a week to get sure we're not getting any health ticks before we headed off travelling again.
Yeah, because we just did the level ups. We didn't do the foraging and such.
And I was convincing him after finding out where the whatchamacallit, where the things, the Trazalax, the sort of evil god creature that I've been hunting down, is residing in the caves further south from here.
Thraslikars. Okay, but
Thraslikar.
Thraslikar's mound is just the mound, which is supposed to be a dragon. But I mean, I don't know how directly tied into your deity demon that you dealt with that cursed you. I mean, like, what is the link for that?
Basically, I was trying to summon something else to heal my daughter who was dying. I ended up summoning some other sort of creature, but because the way it was mucked up, there was no way to tell who the creature was and named and where it was sort of how to get rid of it or how to find it again. And then when we seen the fairy, she said that's where the thing was located. That is basically what I got from it.
I should have went back and listened to that. So she said the essence of what you were looking for was at the mound, but that's not necessarily the dragon. The dragon is just supposed to be the mound. So the two things might not be connected.
It's a clue, and he's supposed to not had a clue for years, so he's determined to try and go find something, go find it now.
Okay, so he or you want to swing by Thraslikar's mound before heading back. Are you thinking of taking or persuading Rourke to accompany you in that direction before he tries to walk home himself, or would you be happy to let him pack his things and head along the river?
I'd happily let him pack his things. What do you think, guys?
My job was to see if he was alive and bring news back to her, so if he's headed back on his own, doesn't really affect me.
I'm fine either way.
Okay, so you're happy to let Rourke pack his things and follow his belief and go home on his own. As far as you're concerned, when you get home and you tell his mother that you found him alive, that's your job done anyway.
Yeah.
And if he gets himself killed, that's his own damn idiot fault.
Hey, I can't be responsible for what happens to him after I leave him. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, that's completely fair.
I just blame Eldon.
Yeah, it's my job to make people crazy.
That was the backup plan, was to blame him.
I thought that was the main plan.
I thought the backup plan was to stick him in the back of the neck on the way home at some point.
That's the backup plan.
That's the point in which we feel that if we're going to die, then we know where to go.
Okay, well, I mean, you're in the town now. The gnolls may like start attacking again if if you're here too long, because they did indicate there was a lot more of them that just weren't present at the camp that you rescued the prisoners from. So I mean, I don't know if you want the rest of the village to pack up and move as well, or defend it, or just get on the go before things turn left again.
Well, I know where there's a perfectly fine village that has all the houses intact.
He suggests coyly.
I think I could somehow convince everyone to go there.
So maybe next morning you guys wake up and Elodin is like standing in the town square on a soapbox, yelling at everybody, doing his oration, trying to persuade them that he knows a place that they can go to, far away and that is safe, protected, where they wouldn't have to worry about monsters raiding them.
Yes, it even has mountains and the ice flats nearby to act as natural barriers. It's right by the river, too. It's perfectly safe with food and everything.
It's perfectly safe.
Just have to worship a secret deity, and that's it.
Thurin is standing there with his niece in his arms. The other townsfolk are, standing around listening intently. This is their home. It has been for generations. they don't really want to move. But then most of their menfolk have been slaughtered. And if danger is indeed on the way, perhaps this is the only opportunity they have to reach safety.
Yes. Perfectly safe.
Does Runic and Evander have any thoughts or care about this when they hear Eldon giving this oration?
Starting to shoot him or not. First, stop him.
I mean, he's talking about Branch Patch, which is like next that mountain with the cave with the frozen thing in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that still there when we left? Like, did that ever disappear after we left, or did it just stay there?
The mountain was still there and the village was still there, frozen.
So not safe.
No.
Depends what you're defining
You
safe
know-
as.
It's not my problem.
They're both bitter and jaded.
Yeah,
I can do anything I want.
Well, this is
It's not
true.
It's not my problem. It's not. If they can go there, whatever. As long as he doesn't try to kill me
Or anyone that you are.
or Norman.
Evander's
No,
priorities are just this one rhinoceros that he's dragged along with. We should probably crush him to death given half the chance.
Probably.
You petting and it just rolls over on top of you. Yeah, because aren't rhinos just giant blind puppies?
Not sure categorize them as such, but sure. It's like a giant armored living tank in the shape of a cow.
All I know is that rhinos can't see well.
In the shape of a cow.
Thinking of it, Bradfatch, ironically, would be technically safer because the only thing that would happen to him is if there's a conduit to sub into that creature. Because a lot of people were trapped there because of the witch, so there's nobody there to technically turn them to ice.
No, there's just Eladin, who it's a tentacle monster of some kind. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, the only threat is the one that you are bringing with you.
Yeah.
Which is Elden. So technically, it should be actually safer for them to go.
Yeah, at least I'm not gonna kill them all at once.
So, I don't know if Eldon wants to roll some sort of negotiation, persuasion roll. And since you guys aren't actively trying to derail him doing this, you're not going to modify his dice at all.
I'm guessing would generous work for this, since I'm sharing information with them.
I think cunning. Would
Yeah, I think your cunning's going to apply because you're trying to trick them.
No, I believe it's a safe place to go.
Well, I mean, that's a critical success, so they're going to wholeheartedly believe you anyway. Yes, they proclaim. That sounds like a great idea. We shouldn't stay here and endanger the lives of our women and children. We must go now. In fact, we should pack up and go tonight.
Let's make sure everyone's well rested first. And we have all the supplies we might need.
Why risk staying another night? Let's go now. Let's pack our things. We can make good time now that there's a break in the storm.
Yes, let's prepare some boats. Does anyone have a some kind of icebreaker that can go ahead?
So they won't have icebreakers, but what they have are like husky sleds, and they have these huge kites that they can attach them to, and they can use the wind to actually help pull it across the ice.
Oh, that's a great idea. All right.
But is this the direction you want to go? Are you going to escort them to Branch Patch? Or are you guys going to take a different route? This also works because if they're going to Branch Patch, Rourke will go with them to Branch Patch, and then at that point he will then go south towards his Onwan, the village of his birth. So it makes more likely that he will survive for a bit longer.
Or a bit longer.
Well, that depends on if his wardens will go with him or if they'll drag him to the south.
So we know what the village is doing, what Rourke's doing, but what are you guys doing?
I'm trying to convince the other two to come down to the mountain with us.
Pretty sure there was like that time in the in the elf castle that I told you I'd go help you. So
I think
Yeah.
I was dead at that point, so I have no idea what your plan is.
yes, you are dead, and I had just killed you. So I was like, yeah, of course I'll help you with your thing. You just watched me murder somebody.
I believe Runic did over the campfire tell you that he was actually extremely wealthy.
Yep,
Yeah,
and then successful getting my revenge, basically you'll be heftily awarded.
again, for me, that's fine. I don't think Eldon is looking for monetary reward in his life at this point, unless money buys slaves, in which case,
No,
I
no,
just
it's not
like
slavery. It's they're I can't think of a way to word it better.
Ascension.
Yes, that's it. They're ascending to a higher plane by serving me.
it's a lot easier to convince slaves than it is free people.
I'll buy you to sacrifice yourselves. Come join me.
Yeah, so I mean, Eldon, are you wanting to persuade them to escort these people to Branch Patch? Or are you all going to go straight down south to Thraslakars?
Well, if I go with them, I think we should at least avoid the mountains to avoid running into any more gnolls.
I'll let you roll if you want to try to convince me to go with you. You got orator. Fuck it.
Yeah, because Branch is a good extra journey alone, let alone going down to straight down.
All right, I guess.
It's still a success. It's just not a full success. So maybe you have to offer a little something extra, give something away. Or maybe he's going with, like, ulterior motives. Like, it could be like he's going, but he's only going to make sure you don't hurt these people.
I don't care about the people.
Or you're going, but it's only because you want to make sure that Eldon, like, gets killed.
I think that one makes more sense.
Make sure the children are safe.
Well, that could be you, but I don't think Evander cares so much.
No, I don't care about children.
Yeah, you've noticed how Eldon's been giving strange looks to children.
Children, but definitely the infant, the newborn. You are... There's something just intoxicating about the scent of that creature when you're near it. And I guess everyone else maybe notices these kind of hungry predator eyes you have around it.
I think for me it's more I killed him once, so now I'm just kind of like paranoid. I'll put it that way.
I'm not gonna pull a fat bastard. I want some baby back ribs.
I was waiting for you to see it.
I was wondering what the fuck he was talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's an 8-day journey to Branch Patch.
With the dog sleds and the kites.
It's a 7-day journey to Branch Patch.
I've got health ticks and everything on.
Because you remember, your rhinoceros can't go in a
Yeah.
toboggan sled. So he's as slow as he's going. So yeah, I mean, if that's your journey plan, then you know the route and everything, so it's not going to be too dangerous. But you probably want to do your preparations beforehand, if there's any.
I'll need to rest because I've got fatigue, cold, all sorts. Because I've got a health tick as well. So, but we're not gonna have time to rest a week though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you rest overnight, you'll get a fatigue, a cold, and an injury back.
We'll rest over the night.
I'm assuming we would rest for the night. I think he said like when we wake up the next morning, he's doing his little preaching thing. So
Yeah, yeah. Not more than a week. I said 7 days, so it will only be a -1 for the journey. If you travel by night, you can mark cold. You get an extra dice to negate that. I don't know if you're fresh and prepared.
I've got an injury still, even after the rest.
Yeah, I've still got injuries too.
And I've not got many supplies. I've got only 2 supplies left.
Well,
Well, do that to get that back.
you could do a date to get those back, or you could do an action and go foraging before you leave.
I want to try to convince the villagers to give me supplies.
Okay, if you got a negotiation or something.
I have persuasion.
Yep, that'll work. So that's your type of foraging is just trying to pounce food off people. Runic, you can do your hunter if you want to go hunting.
I got 5 because I got -1.
2 supplies for Eldon. And 1 supply for Runic. I guess you're pressed for time. There's not a lot. The villagers are townspeople are travelling light. Stuff's already been taken during the raids. There's not a lot to go around.
I don't know if it's worthwhile just taking another day and just to clear it all.
It's up to you. This might be the last chance you get to do that as well.
Yeah, may as just when you pay a debt, that covers both supplies and gear, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure. Gear and supplies are completely refreshed.
Right, so I may as well use up my gear then to use that then. And I'll try and heal my injury.
Yeah, I mean, you can spend the gear, heal an injury. Or spend the supplies and heal an injury, I think it is actually.
Yeah, I would do that first, and then spend your debt to clear out your supplies and gear. Clock.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm doubling up my bows. So I've got a refill and a fresh one, and so I have 16 arrows.
I mean, I wouldn't. I know you've been doing it so you actually count your arrows, but the way you're probably going to do it is more abstract, where like you spend the supplies to have arrows, and then if you get a partial success or a failure on a roll, one of the consequences of that could be that you've run out of arrows during the course of battle, and then you would have to spend supplies again to just have more arrows until that happens again. You'd abstract it more rather than like actually counting how many arrows you have, because you know otherwise the supplies would have to define how many of everything you get when you spend the supplies on something, which kind of defeats the purpose
do
of
that.
having the supply counter.
Alright, if I'm using my gear up, I may. So I think what things worthwhile getting in advance, get like a roll.
I mean, I don't think there's a point in that. You're trying to like preload extra ones, but if you haven't spent it when you refresh, I mean, you just lose out on them.
Right, I'll just refresh. Here we go. More.
I mean, you could say you're doing something like you're spending it to get a sled with a kite. You know what I mean? You could, to get dogs and a sled.
I'll do that then, so it gives easier travel.
That's something that you have immediately now that's applicable. And normally you could spend that and it would speed up the journey and stuff like that, but Norman is the thing that's slowing you down. So unless there's a very ingenious way to spend supplies to make him kind of more faster. Or to travel quicker.
Getting special snow boots for rhinos. See these wonderful warm booties. They keep your rhino's feet nice and fresh.
Is there horseshoes, but for rhinoceros, you know?
Just get him some giant skis so you can pull him.
But yeah, I mean, if the water was flowing and the lake wasn't frozen, maybe a barge or something like that would have worked, but yeah. Norman is the thing that's kind of going to restrict your length of journey, I think. Okay, so well, given that we've all done that, do you want to make the roll for the journey to Branch Patch? 1 dice down, unless you're... Well, hang on, is everyone fresh?
Yeah, fresh now.
So no one's got injuries.
I've still got 2 injuries and 2 fatigue.
Not use your depth as well like I did then. Just get a dent and then clears it all.
Well, that clears your supplies, which would mean you're prepared. It doesn't affect your injuries.
I guess I'll use supplies to treat my injury. Like, does someone have a healer?
Yeah. Oh, you're in town and it's supplied, so you can just like spend the supplies to get it treated.
Alright. And then I'll fill my debt to empty my supplies. So what happens when debt is full?
Health tick.
Yeah, health tick.
But then wouldn't it just be emptied after that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Your life is permanently cut short by the amount of debt you're in. Either because someone's caught up and beaten you up for money you owe. It could be you've traded on your reputation for too long and now you're blacklisted. So it's like, cutting the likelihood you're going to be able to survive as long. So if everyone's fresh and prepared, and we've got a -1, so you're at +1.
You guys want me to push overnight or extra fatigue? I'll let that be your call since you gotta take the fatigue/cold. If I do.
I think the problem is because it's such a long journey, we're going to take extra no matter what. It's 7 days, so that's like a full supply plus.
Yeah, we'll always have at least 1 supply we get. So whatever you decide to do.
Right. Take an extra cold then. Guess I'll push overnight.
Okay, so fatigue and cold for everyone, and then make the roll. And then your choice of everyone taking an extra fatigue or cold. Because of the trouble of the journey.
Cold.
Okay, so everyone takes an extra cold. So it's 7 days, so that's going to be marking off supplies as far as you can. And then for each additional day after your supplies run out, you have to take a fatigue or a cold.
6 days, then 6 fatigue, or 6 supplies, and then 1 extra for fatigue. There you go.
So I imagine by the time you arrive there, you're going straight across the frozen lake. The island is no longer there. You go straight through where it should be and passing through where the mist and all the rest of it was, and it just doesn't seem to exist anymore. You hit the shoreline, the tundra, and then it's just straight shot across the snowlands, the frozen ground. And it's rough going. It's cold, it's tiring, supplies are short, people are stressed, tired, hungry, the grief is kicking in because their loved ones are gone. And it's a harsh and long journey. But thankfully, there's literally nothing between point A and point B. So there's no danger. There's no monsters. There's no crevices to fall into. There's no dangerous terrain. It's just a matter of personal endurance and trying to keep warm at night. And eventually you can see the mountain on the horizon, that same foreboding peak in the landscape that sits over the village. And you find the village quiet and frozen just as you left it. With one curiously smashed house, which is some distance away from its original foundations.
How odd.
You could have done that.
It was like that when I got here. And I guess for Elodin, you know, the voice that speaks to you, the whispers that you can hear that comfort you, grow louder and more constant as you approach the mountain. It very much is the focal point of your soul at this point.
I guess as soon as we get to the village, I'm gonna go into the mountain and go touch the magic rock.
So you arrive at the village, and everyone's a little, you know, there's this pristine village sat here. It's like, where are all the people? Are there no other villagers living here? Why is it abandoned?
There was when we passed through here the first time, there was a vile witch trying to cast a spell. Unfortunately, we were able to stop the witch, but it was too late as she had already cast her evil magic.
So you're saying this place is cursed?
No. We've broken the curse already. It's fine.
So like, okay, unsure. But they're tired and cold and hungry at this point. Come so far, they don't really have much choice now. They open up the homes to get inside and start fires and be warm, and are greeted by the sort of grotesque, terrifying visage of these families that are just frozen in place in time inside the homes. Men, children, wives, daughters, sons, just all frozen as they were going about their daily activities before they were cursed. Imagine they turn to the less, you know, terrifying people of Runic and Vander. Like, why would you think this place was safe? This doesn't seem right at all.
Monsters won't attack you.
Don't look at me. I didn't tell you to come here.
But what are we supposed to do with these people? I mean, are they alive?
We must, I'm still trying to break the curse. For now, we should move them to the mountain cave, where it'll be cold enough they won't melt in the summer.
So the handful of men that are still there, including Thorin and Rorik, will start to like wrap or push these people, wrap them in blankets, put them onto the sleds, and then drag them. You know, the couple of dozen of them that there are or so, from the village up to this mountain, following Aladdin in his direction. You get to the mouth of the cave of the mountain. And I mean, you know fine well what's inside, as do your compatriots, but these people don't know what lies inside.
As they're entering, I want to try to enchant them so they won't notice the statues in the walls.
Okay.
Would this be cunning or touched by the gods?
Touched by the gods, I think, given your proximity to the mountain. Well, yeah, I mean, you couldn't get much better than that. So, yes, you can feel the power surging through you, the conduit of this mountain, you know, pulling it down from the heavens above and straight into your being. And as you cast your spell over them, you know, you can, the memories of the witch that did it once before kind of flash through your own, and you can see that she had a similar kind of approach to those that ventured close to the mountain.
So that only people who already know will see the horrible truth that's inside.
Yeah, I mean,
Or-
I'm imagining Runic and Vander aren't going anywhere near the mountain.
Nope.
I'm not going in that cave.
Yeah, so the townsfolk bring the frozen villagers right up and into the cave, the cavern. And they seem oblivious to the persons frozen in time, encased and imprisoned here in the walls and the ceilings and the floor. But of course now the melody of their screams and cries of anguish and terror, their pleas, their maddening ravings from who knows how long they've been trapped here for. It's just, it sings like a choir of angels to you, Eldon. And you just feel perfectly at home, at ease within this cavern.
I guess as he's guiding them deeper to put the bodies somewhere, just walk along the wall and just poke all the hands that are touching out.
Sure. Yes, I mean there's the odd part of finger or a wrist or whatever that's poking out of the ice. It's not being completely encased. And you can feel their cold flesh. And you taunt them almost with the warmth of your touch, knowing that they can't escape. But the increase in their anguish only increases the pleasure you derive from it. You're not a very good person.
No,
Let's see.
no, at this point. Actually, even before this point, Eladin wasn't a good person.
No, certainly not. So yes, they bring the bodies in, you lead them deep in the cavern, and I'm assuming you're going to the place where you were before, where the rock sticks out of the ground in this large cave. And in this cave, you know, it's just silence. You don't hear anything. And then you could just hear like this slight sort of high-pitched tinnitus singing of the stone, and the gratitude it feels to you for bringing you not just this bounty of pre-frozen peoples who will now sit here and feed the being, but also the others that you have enchanted and entranced and brought with you.
Yes, soon they will. I don't know what would be a good name for it. Yeah, soon they'll join the frozen. I don't know. Like, let me know if you guys think of a better name for it. Of all the people just trapped in the ice.
Yes, so the frozen villagers are arranged in the cavern around the stone, and you can feel and hear their thoughts as their psyches are kind of like frozen from the stasis they were in and absorbed into the rock and the creature connected to it.
If it's all interconnected like that, wouldn't you say something like they'll like become one or something with it?
The forever ones.
You know, like if they're gonna be like frozen in this mountain and they're all interconnected, it'd be like one big hive mind.
Are they just gonna slowly start melting into the floors and the walls or something?
No, they're going to stay there frozen stationary. They're just like the people encased in ice, but they're just physically frozen. Just their presence being here, though, allows the thing to feed off of their fears and anxieties and pain for eternity.
Well, now all that's left is to convince the villagers to start worshipping a rock.
Yeah, I mean, imagine they pay no heed to it. It's just another rock sticking out the ground. It's not, doesn't
You know,
seem
I'll
particularly
just
big.
set up a tradition where they sacrifice somebody every now and then.
Yes, I mean,
Oh.
long term, you could be like breeding generations of people to sacrifice piecemeal.
Well, first we've just got to start brainwashing them to build a giant temple inside the mountain.
Yes, but after you've dropped off the villagers, you know, Rorik and Thorin have a conversation, and Rorik's, you know, he's impatient to follow his destiny and get home to his mother, because it's already been over a year at this point, and he's keen to get home to see how she is and to continue on the next leg of his destiny.
He doesn't even know what that next leg is.
I imagine a few of them do a silent prayer for the people that they're leaving here in this cavern, but there's a quiet dignity to leaving them here than just, burning them or whatever. And they're clearly not alive anyway, so what difference does it make? I guess with that you would leave the cavern, the cave, the blessing of your dark deity, back to the village, where the rest of the living townspeople are.
Are you guys doing anything while I'm planning terrible things?
Nothing beyond the usual.
Just waiting till everything settles here, and then we can head off.
Oh, I was, just, plotting a way to kill him. That's the usual for me.
That's what I assumed you were meaning.
That's what I thought.
Well, I'm waiting to, let's see, Fiery Mountain, which destroyed every bit of his body, or we shoot him and kill him like last time, which he brought him back to life. What plan works better?
I plan on killing him, tying him up, dragging him to the mountain, throwing him in anyways.
Yeah, so I mean, you can rest up here again as a village after all. Resources are somewhat depleted. You can hunt and stuff for supplies though. And I guess you could take on debt to trade with the villagers for some extra supplies gear if you wanted.
I'm about to say, since I can't really hunt and forage, could I take on debt, but to pay someone who can do that thing to do it for me?
Yeah, I definitely think you could do that. You're just basically bartering with them.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll do that too.
Yeah, because there's not much here. Winter is in full effect, so hunting's not going to be good. So they're going to be trading their supplies that they still have with them. Mostly, I would think. Or take out a couple of hunting parties to go looking for deer or something.
So if we rest overnight, would that be 2 cold ticks gone or 1? Would that make it like a short rest or?
2 cold ticks, yes.
Okay. So
Same with 2 cold, 2 fatigue.
I've only got 1 health tick, but we're not going to stay here for a week, so probably just heading out. I'm not sure what the rest is.
Do what?
He's saying you can't rest here for a week, although he has a health tick marked.
Yeah, I don't think we can stay here for a whole week. I mean, we can. I mean, we could try, I suppose. But since, they just got here, I don't think they would have the... Or could we? Would that even work?
You
I mean,
could,
yeah,
but it's
so-
going to be a settlement marked in decline. So, I
Yeah.
mean, technically you could stay here for that long.
The health tick doesn't bother me, but it's up to you guys.
I think we just head off.
So, I think
How are you
it's...
going to get Aladdin to leave though?
Oh, that's
Are you
it.
just gonna kidnap him?
Sweet Elton, if we want, he'll be able to get more people involved in his cult or his church bringing up if he helps me out. Money proceeds more.
I'll say, you want to build a temple, you need money to build a temple. He's rich. He's offering to pay you.
Very well, but I'll need more than money. We'll have to make a deal of sorts.
If we're successful, I'll make a deal.
Do you want to give me a lower roll, Runic? To see what you actually know about the place that you're going to.
Lore Master 3, so minus 1 die from the bonus one. Just checking if anything of my skills would help, but I don't think there would be. Maybe touch with the gods, actually.
If it's to do with the thing that touched you before, then yeah, sure.
Okay, so 4 dice.
Okay, so you know the story about it supposedly being the mound is a dragon, or a dragon is buried within it or beneath it. You know that the surrounding area is home to the kobolds, worshippers of this dragon being, this dragon deity. You know it has been that way for a very long time. I'm trying to think of something useful. Well, I mean, do you want to tell me if you know something useful about the area that your deity has alluded to, or something about your deity that would be useful to you about travelling through the area?
Well, the deity itself, when I was doing, obviously, what I was trying to summon originally was always to bring my daughter back from ill health. So originally, the deity I was trying to, so it somehow connected with some sort of bringer of life or protection, or bringer of life originally, and somehow have summoned this thing instead. So there must be something to do with the similarities, and if I made some sort of mistake, but it will have some sort of close bond to the same ideals.
Which is to do with like the dead transferring from the land of the dead or something.
Basically, yeah, land of dead to or rejuvenation. Basically,
But instead of rejuvenation, you are cursed.
I was cursed to some sort of goat-like creature, and obviously my daughter was taken away.
So you think maybe instead of summoning something that should be able to retrieve someone from the dead, what you actually did was retrieve something that's looking to take people.
Basically, that's what I think. Yes,
Steal their
That's what
souls,
I'm-
evil spirit, that kind of thing. Okay. So maybe in a similar kind of vein, the kobolds are also known for kidnapping children from villages for, their own sort of rituals and practices. So perhaps there is some sort of like link there going on. Perhaps this thing that they worship is somehow intertwined with the thing that you accidentally summoned.
Until the fairy brought it up, basically, I've never put the connection together.
And at this point, you're also realizing that Elodin. I mean, how much of Elodin wanting to sacrifice people do you actually realize at this point?
I don't think we realize it at all. We don't know he's trying to sacrifice people. We think it's kind of odd that he brought them here.
Yeah.
I would say.
Odd,
Yeah, because you guys
creepy,
were pretty far when the giant died, and so
odd,
Yeah.
creepy, extremely suspicious. But you might not be thinking, yeah, he's brought them here because he's going to sacrifice them.
Yeah, I don't know about sacrifice. I just know he came back from the dead, and then he brought them here, and yeah, everything is a little weird.
Yeah, and and anything he does is kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so yes, you're not really going to make or see a connection with that because you don't know the ulterior motives that you might have here for that. Sure, yeah, so now the pieces are kind of falling into place, and it makes sense that whatever they're involved in, the kobolds, could very well be the thing that you've been searching for this whole time. And that this mound, the focal point of their kingdom, of their worship, of their religion, could be something to do with the thing that you seek.
And we can go forth and murder it.
Is that how we do this?
Do you have the means to murder it just by with the things that you carry?
I know the stone that we've picked up from his mound has some sort of properties to attack stuff.
It appeared to do so, yes. You're also now at the spot where you could harvest more of that material if you wished.
That's actually a good point. I think I might try and do that. So I can try and make some sort of either unique weapon with it, either some sort of blade as well. So obviously I can use the chunk I've got, like small wee bits of it I can put into arrows.
Yeah, but you might want a more substantial weapon to fight this thing with. So, I don't know, perhaps maybe when everyone's settled in the village, you sneak back out to the cave, You go in there and it's as haunting and as twisted and creepy as it was before, with all these people who you are aware are now trapped in here, watching you, their eyes moving, you know, the muscles twitching ever so slightly. And you can't hear them, but you know, you get that sense of foreboding, and you can, you know, feel this in the impression from their eyes that they're just desperate to be free, but you're powerless to do so. You have no idea how to achieve such a thing. It's beyond the means that you have. But you work your way down into the core room with the stone. It's still sat there at an angle on the floor, and surrounding it are all the villagers that were once in the village. And it looks strange that they're in here in their various poses. Some of them sat, lying down, whatever, propped up against each other, and they've been arranged in a circle around this stone, and that itself strikes you as extremely eerie, odd, and sinister. But I mean, you're sorry, on you.
They're expecting to be in this formation, so I'm just weary a wee bit of all, but I'm focused on my task.
Yes, I mean, you're here with purpose. You have a task at hand. You want to spend a supply, not supplies, a gear to pull out, you know, a pickaxe or something.
Yep.
Say about your task about gathering this resource, this mineral. And I guess it'll be peasant rogue, because I think that's what we used before for this, because it's a task of manual labour. And remember, you can push yourself by taking the extra fatigue to get an extra dice as well.
I think I will put extra fatigue for this to make sure I can do it, so I've still got a -1. Depends at 2. I was trying to think of anything. Would Sharp Eye work in this, because I'm also trying to fit specifically?
I don't think so.
Touched by God.
You could call upon your touch by the gods as some sort of like guidance for this. Maybe the strength that the curse has kind of left you with.
Right, so 4 dice then.
If you wanted help, I guess you'd have to tell me that you're doing this, and I could help you somehow. Otherwise, you're on your own.
No, because I don't get you think the fact if something else is getting cursed by this big stone as well.
Yeah, I didn't like the stone to begin with, that you guys even had it in the castle. I didn't like that.
Yeah, so you strike the thing twice, 3 times. And unlike before, you know, you're able to cleave a significant amount of the mineral off of the moonstone. Every time you strike the stone, Elodin, your head rings out in pain. As if you've had just a massive aneurysm, a stroke, a migraine just going off in your mind. You can feel it behind your eyes with each strike. Although you are, you know, in bed in the village.
Does he touch the rock at all while he's mining it?
So after you've cleaved it off of the rock, what are you doing?
I'm gathering it, and then I'm going to try and forge it or sharpen parts of it into weapons. Like, even the wee fragments I'll put into, like, the arrowheads. So I've got them sort of, like, as, like, specialist arrows. And also, the main chunk of it I'll try and turn into sort of a sharpened sword of some sort.
I would say with the full success, actually no, yes, you would have. You've got enough for some arrows as well as for a weapon, a blade of some sort. But yeah, I mean, if you're gathering up, I mean, you're going to have to touch it with your hands, I'm guessing, at some point or other. Although you might be wearing gloves because it's night, it's cold.
I'm wearing gloves, because I always wear gloves.
Yeah.
Sure, and you can just feel the eyes of the villagers on you the whole time that you're doing this. There might have been a moment when you cleaved it off that you thought you detected motion in the cave with the persons, as if some of them had moved slightly or winced, perhaps. But that can't be right. They're in exactly the same position they were a moment ago. So you scoop up the parts of the mineral into your sack and take them with you back into the village where you want to forge them into weapons.
And off I go to make weapons.
Yeah, I mean, you stay up the rest of the night hammering and chiseling, and sanding it down to get like a nice edge on the weapon. You forge a short sword blade out of the stone, as well as an arrowhead that you can use.
I call it a magic sword. I'll call it whimsy.
Assuming that's some kind of reference.
That sounds like it'd be the name for some kind of cursed fairy weapon.
And whether you tell Eldon about these weapons you've created or not, Eldon is going to be aware of their presence at all times.
I won't tell Eldon.
No.
As soon as you make your way back to the village, he's just standing at the edge of the village, staring at the mountain, just watching you make your way back for some reason.
Hello, everybody.
I mean, you're that creepy by this point. I don't think he's going to think too much about that.
He's just staring at you ominously as you make your way back inside the village.
Watch yourself, I'll just poke one of those eyes out.
It's okay. I have extras.
It's the kind of psycho talk that makes me worried.
But yeah, come daybreak, you exit the forge house covered in sweat with the weapons you've produced. So what's next?
Okay, Pat. We'll have a wee rest party for head out then for the journey.
Well, I mean, they weren't out all night, so they'll be rested anyway.
Meet a couple hearty supplies maybe before I go.
Bobby ho, let's go.
So you want to hunt again before you go?
It won't make much difference my fatigue wise. I'm probably just using supplies to lower it down.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the only way to go basically.
So the journey southeast to the mound itself is 8 days. The route is unknown. Is it particularly treacherous? I suppose so, because you're going through Cobalt territory. So this is looking like a -4 roll.
A -4?
Yeah. That's not counting if you're fresh, prepared, cold, or extra fatigue. So it's a long and difficult journey. So, are we fresh or prepared?
Are fresh. I'm fresh anyway.
I'm fresh, but I'm not prepared. I have 2 supplies off.
Well, I'm good because I just used it, so.
So the party is not prepared.
Nope.
You are fresh, so that'll take you to a -3, sorry. You can take the cold for one, you can take the extra fatigue for another one, and that would take you down to -1.
Were you counting the free one when you said -4 already?
I was not, no.
Okay, so I have -4. Then we get those, so I'm at -2. I will push myself for extra fatigue.
Okay, so fatigue and the cold we're doing.
Like it?
So it's 2 fatigue and a cold for everyone.
That gives me 4 dice, by the way. That's where I'm at now.
4 dice is pretty respectable.
I don't think I have anything that would help that.
Your
Alright.
pathfinding? That's what
Yeah, bad. Well, I was talking about, like, trait-wise. I didn't think I had any trait that would help with that.
Okay, so you guys, your choice of an extra cold or fatigue on top of that. It's a long journey. It's down south, across the frozen river, across open wasteland. That wasteland, frozen and covered in snow as it is, becomes more frozen wasteland, although it's rockier. There's more hills, sort of ditches and ravines you have to traverse. The sky gets more overcast and darker as you approach, and before long you can see the massive mountain Thraslakhar's mound on the horizon. But although occasionally you're having to avoid patrols of these small reptilian creatures, and you can see signs of their burrows that you're also avoiding in case there's like pitfalls and traps that they've laid, you're able to make it all the way to the base of the mountain itself without actually running into any danger.
And you said it was 8 days, so that's 8 supplies.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, I think at least another health tick.
Yeah, so I'll have. Yeah, so I'll be at another health stick also.
Yeah, I mean, by the time you get there, you're exhausted, you're drained, you're pushing your body to its limits, what it can endure in terms of stamina and cold. This is not the condition you want to be in when facing a potential foe on the level of a deity or a demon.
Would there be any, like, you want to make camp in particular?
Yeah, you can make camp at the base of the mountain.
Yeah, I think we need to.
So you could use Scout here in place of Survivalist if you needed to.
Alright, I can get 4 dice if I use Scout. Anyone got better survival skill?
I don't have survivalist anymore.
Oh, okay. Would Sharp Eye work with setting up camp still? Or...
Sharp Eye Jess, because you're going to want to pick a spot where you're not going to be seen.
Okay, so that'd be 5 dice then. And that gives me fatigue, so that gives me a health tick.
Yeah, you're able to find a sheltered spot within the rocks. Not anything as big as like a cave, maybe just like an indentation that's obscured, so you're less likely to be spotted. Where your campfire's not likely to be seen. Yes, and you're sheltered from the elements as well.
Guys, I'm back in 2 wee seconds, alright?
Alright. Alright, boys, we getting into the rough spots now. We got them health ticks adding up on us.
I think Runic is the cook, isn't he?
I was the cook, but I'm sure that I can still find a way to cook some food.
No, I'm good. I'll pass.
It's like some kind of stew with. Seems like it's still moving, even though you haven't had any fresh food in a while.
Like,
Yes, yeah, I'll
it's
pass.
got,
I don't trust anything the creepy guy makes.
like fingers and toes in it, man.
I imagine him actually just like altering his body, like chopping off like the excess tentacle into there or something.
Oh,
No, I'm good.
yeah. Yuck.
Yeah, I'm good.
That-
No.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Do you actually have any cooking skill now?
Not anymore.
Oh, so it'd just be the 1 dice if you wanted to. I think Runic had cook skills.
Could I use Commander to command the food to cook itself?
No, that's not how cooking works at all. Ingredients don't cook themselves. I'm gonna get a drink while he's away.
Would generous work for cooking?
I'll wait till he gets back because I think he might have skill he could help at least. I'm gonna go grab a drink.
Okay, I'll be right back then.
I'm back. I was listening now, so I know what's going on.
just thinking about what sort of schemes I can use to entrap you both in my vile machinations.
What kind of what?
More evil plots, basically.
Well, I kind of figured we were all gonna die here, except for Eldon.
I see Eldon's evil plot now. He says he's gone back to his old ways of trying to reanimate some creature, so he puts everyone together to make a creature.
No, he's probably gonna make a deal with this thing to use his kobolds to help kidnap people for his sacrifices, and in turn he's gonna give us over to him because we're trying to kill him. So he's like, "Hey, here's my bargaining chip."
The silence says it all.
Just trying to think of a better way than just when we walk in and we're surrounded, I just shout, "Hey, we're over here."
Hey, I'll make a deal with you.
He's over here.
Now, see, if I knew he was trying to sacrifice people, I could stop this from happening. But I don't know, so I'm just gonna walk to my death.
Take it, Tink's not back.
No, I'm here.
Yeah, my
I heard what you sort of going about, obviously, about the camp. I don't have any of the cameras because I think I've only got hunting to pick up supplies.
Right, okay.
Just checking if anything I have else might apply to him.
Well, it was the cooking I was asking about, it wasn't the camp making.
No, I don't have cooking. I have healer. That was the thing I had for helping out with things.
Right, okay.
Do you want me to cook?
You guys keep going. I'm gonna check my food.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to do the cook, mate, it'll be your default dice plus your applicable trait.
Generous.
Yeah, generous, yeah. Damn, that was actually pretty good. So that's everyone gets 2 fatigue or stress if you wanted. Back from the cooking.
We need to get supplies before we can make a camp anyway. We've got anything. I'm out of supplies. I assume everyone will be out of supplies at this point.
Oh yeah, I need supplies too.
Well, you can go look for supplies while you've got camp. Because the camp will give you an extra dice for finding supplies anyway.
I'll take an injury then while I'm for cooking then for reasons.
Sure.
I'm not eating his cooking.
Well, if you don't want the 2 fatigue back, that's fine.
It's just got some human fingers from the leftover stuff he had before.
Did he actually succeed on his cooking roll?
He did. He got full success.
Oh my god! Now I have to eat it.
So it's a nourishing tentacle tip soup.
Because I had 1 fatigue left over, and if I eat it, I won't have any fatigue left over. Oh my Jesus! I'm eating this food.
Grudgingly.
It's delicious. Where'd you get the meat for it?
I'm not even thinking about. I want to guess where you got the meat from.
He's like closing his eyes and just like putting the spoon in. But it's very, I mean, it's delicious. It's nourishing. You get 2 fatigue back.
Okay, because it tastes good, right? Is that how that works?
Yeah, it tastes good. Smells great. Only has a hint of the aura of other people's suffering within it.
That's the secret spice.
After this nourishing meal, I'll go for a wee hunt and see if I can get some supplies.
Yep.
Two success at least. That's
You
good.
don't have a supply gathering skill, do you, Evander?
No, I am completely at the mercy of generosity at this point.
Sure. Do you want to give him an extra dice by helping him out when he's hunting?
Sure.
So you can roll another dice in addition to that thing. He's got full success anyway, but well, okay. So that's 2 supplies you found. It's just like lizards and small birds that are sort of living around this frozen mountain.
Well, if I give you one supply, and I take one supply, it's enough for camp, because we didn't really have any supplies for camp at the moment until I'd done that.
Well, you don't need a supply for making camp itself. You use the supply to, you know, rest, relax, or reheat while you're there.
I think having one supply would just be helpful if we needed like a heat source or something.
Yeah, because I went too cold, obviously, from that journey and stuff, so...
Well, vesting should have got rid of. We made camps. We should have got rid of at least one cold for that. But yeah.
I probably missed putting that in. Right, so okay, keep one supply, and I'll give you one supply.
Appreciate that.
So we've got one each.
Yeah, so you're going to get a long rest, so that's going to restore 2 fatigue. And you can spend supplies for everyone to restore 2 cold. And I'm going to make a note because that is the way it should work all the time.
Okay, I'm back. My food's done.
So in total, you're going to regain 4 fatigue and 2 cold each. And that takes you through to the next morning in the camp. You wake up. You've heard like the chittering reptilian voices, you know, in the surrounding crevices and slopes, but you've not seen any, and they've definitely not seen you by this point, and you have been left alone thus far. You get up in the morning, put out your fire. The weather's quite calm. It's overcast, but it's not stormy. You can see the impressive peak in the shape of a dragon's head, quite literally, sticking up at the top of the mound. So, what's your progress from here?
Right. You said what entrances are around where we are?
I didn't describe any entrances. You would have to go looking for some. There's nothing obvious, just looking around.
I think I spend the morning complaining about this awful nightmare I had. I could just like hear people in pain and anguish. Like, this is terrible. Don't know why I had it.
Oh, no reason.
That damn tentacle suit.
What kind
So
of what kind of bowel movement you're going to have the next morning after having tentacle soup?
I don't want to think about it.
Very squiggly one.
So I guess we need to look for, I don't know, tracks or a way into.
Yes, the hunter could look for tracks, the scout could look for tracks or entrances, because you are in enemy territory at this point. So those are all applicable.
I'm assuming he would have shared his knowledge of the like the kobolds, like the ritual sacrifices or whatever they'd be doing.
That's up to Runic.
I'll do the hunting roll, so
I'll do the scout rolling. But yeah, I'd be looking for like what they would be, like the mass traffic, if they're going to be sacrificing something to this god, but I guess that's where I want to go.
Sure. You'll get +1 from your camp while you're doing this as well.
Okay. But I lose 2 because of health ticks.
Your sharp-eyed will apply, obviously.
Alright, that leaves me with 3 dice. Oof.
I was just looking at my prepared list of bad things. Trying to say, oh, this is juicy. Which one? Yeah, so you're scouting around, crawling over the rocks and sort of like patches of ice and snow, just trying to get a grip on the layout of the land, patrols that might be happening, if there's a camp, if there's a cave entrance, just whatever you can find. So you go up over one of these sharper peaks, trying to lay low and remain hidden. And as you peer over the side, you can see that there's a cabal of these small reptilian creatures, the height of children, basically waist height for you. They have this kind of deep blue skin and these, flat, squarish kind of heads almost. And rather than a patrol of them, there seems to be some sort of celebration or ritual going on. They're not standing in a circle, but they are in a pattern, maybe a sort of a star shape or something. There's like two lines of them crossing each other, and they're, rotating around and chanting as they do. And there seems to be one that sat in the center of them with his arms raised and a staff, and these orbs of blue light energy sort of like swirling around him as they're chanting. And as they do so, at the peak, the crest, what's that fucking called? The crescent of the crest of the singing, the chanting, when you reach the highest volume and they all cry out in unison, the entire mountain just kind of like shakes a little bit, and all these rocks start sliding down the side of you.
Oh, great! They caused an avalanche. Rock slide.
I'm going to say you take a stress as you turn around and you see the massive peak of the mound, which was just in the shape of a dragon, and it starts to move ever so slowly.
Oh, hell no. We're supposed to be fighting a mountain? Is that what we're doing?
Do we all take a stress or just him?
Just him. Well, he's the one out scouting. You guys are back at the camp.
I think it's time to leave.
I wonder, does Runic hear his weapons whispering to him now?
Runic won't hear it, but Eldon can hear them whispering, yeah.
I would leave and head back and get the hunter so he could track them. Since I, didn't find anything else useful. And of course, I'll explain to him that the mountain moves. Because, that's important information.
Yeah. By the way, guys.
Yeah, it moves when it wants to, apparently.
Can I roll for Lure Master to see if I know anything about this concept?
Sure.
Oh, -2 health in this, so 2 dice now.
Yeah, that -2 health. Fuck me.
No,
It's
I mean, you
badly.
have established before, you've heard the legends that the dragon sleeps under the mountain, but this appears to be the mountain itself moving.
Okay, so we're only slightly wrong with the concept.
But you wanted to do a hunter roll to track, see if you can find some tracks.
Yep, okay, so 4, 5,
You get an extra dice for the camp.
-2, 4. Oh, I didn't know that. That means I should have another dice for the last one. Right, so 2,
If I-
4 hunter,
If I
1
took
for
him back
sharp eye.
to the exact spot, would he get extra dice for that? Since we know there's some tracks around here somewhere at least.
No.
Damn. All right.
5 dice.
So
is
yeah, I
for
mean,
2.
you can aid them if that's narratively what you want to say. Would you give him a dice in?
Yeah, I can do that then.
I'll just I get 5 dice already based on the negatives and everything.
Well, I
positives.
mean, as we've
that's
seen,
pretty
that might.
respectable, but
Then
I
we-
rolled 8 one time and got 0 dice, so.
Yeah, because see, that might mean nothing. So I wouldn't turn down the extra dice if you didn't have to.
Okay, go for it then. It's 6 dice then.
That's a
What a
perfect
success.
Yep. So Evander takes you back up to the crescent, points you down towards where the ritual is happening. They seem to be picking up their pieces of equipment, such as they are, and sort of scurrying off with them. You wait for them to leave the area, and then you slide down the mountain, which has stopped moving. But now the top of the mountain, which looks like a dragon head, is now facing in a completely different angle because it has swiveled around about 45 degrees. You slide your way down the gravel to where they were resting, and you're quite easily able to pick up their tracks, which will take you around, the edge of the base of the mountain. As you turn around the edge, you're able to find a pathway crude that's just been created in the gravel and the dirt and the snow, more from just like repeated footprints than anything else. You're able to scale that halfway up the side of the mountain and find the entrance to a burrow, which will take you into the interior. You can feel heat coming out of this burrow. There's clearly like fire and stuff going on inside. You can smell the smells of animals. Yeah, so very definitely that this is where they're going inside. Fortunately, they don't seem to be bothered about security by any means. There's no guards or anything posted there. And it's literally just a hole in the ground at the side of the mountain.
Okay, let's journey in further, see what we can find. I'll lead the way.
I think I got a good picture here for a... Yeah, so inside this tunnel, as I said, you can feel the heat. It's the heat of bodies, the heat of fires. You can see the claw marks where it's been scratched and dug out into the dirt. This has been here for a long time. You can tell that right away. You can hear like the nattering, the chattering, the scraping of movement coming from the shadows below. And it quickly becomes apparent that this burrow is like a warren, dug like rats might dig into the side of a mound of dirt. And it appears to go all the way through the mountain in a variety of different directions. But it is dark in here, and you do not know your way around.
I'll use a gear for a torch.
It gives you a light source, and then I guess you want to make a dungeoneering roll to explore it, with the goal being the source of your deity demon.
Yep. So engineers at 3 minus 2. Get the initial dice on that 2.
So remember, you can push yourself, take a fatigue for an extra dice as well,
Not got that much left for fatigue for getting a health tick again.
and someone else can also lend the dice if they've got appropriate skill they can use. Survivalist, scout, anything like that would help. And remember, you got your traits too.
Short time might help with the dungeon, I was thinking.
Yes.
So that'll give me 3 dice then.
To fatigue at. You got 2, so if you did this one, you'd be at 3, or...
It'll put me at 3 using the dungeon year roll. So if I use another one, it puts me 4, which does me another health tick.
Yeah, so you
I
probably...
can help with scout, but that gives me fatigue too, right, for helping.
So there's no point doing that then. We'll just have to go with what we've got, which is... I worked out 3.
What about
minus 2
Eldon?
for
He's
that.
got a lot of eyes.
Yes, I'll watch your back. Don't worry.
3 dice. Here we go.
He's like...
3 dice. He's like, didn't even pause. Like 3 dice, still the same number.
I want to try to use altars. Did I see one of the kobolds yet?
You wouldn't have seen them yet, but you can hear them off in the distance of the tunnels.
Oh no, I was gonna use altar self to make myself look like a kobold, but since I haven't seen one yet.
Not from this region anyway. You've seen the ones that attack the village, but they're different.
So you want to roll me a d6 first of all, I think. Okay, you meander your way through the tunnels, changing direction every now and again to avoid the incoming patrols that you can hear in the tunnels. But you're staying quiet. You keep your torch held back and low to avoid attracting attention. And you make your way to the heart of the mountain. And in this room is a literal heart. It appears to be the size of, if the 3 of you were standing on each other's shoulders, you would be about the height of this heart, which is suspended from the ceiling. It seems completely motionless at first, and you might wonder if it's perhaps some sort of monument that's been positioned there. But then it beats, doomph, just the once.
You know, I've seen some weird shit since I've been on this journey with you people. This might take the cake.
There's a number of small fires in this room. You notice that the walls are curved, and there's these like long, well, lack of a better word, it very much looks as if you're in some sort of rib cage. You can see the ribbed bones around the edges of the cavern, giving its form and shape. Although between them is formed mineral rock. There are worn passages, burrows leading off in all different directions. And as you're in here, there is in the middle of these fires, beneath this heart, is a small pile of gold and trinkets, about 3 treasures worth.
Get a treasure each. There we go.
But as you're in this, you can location, you can hear patrols coming from the direction you just came in. They're close.
I've got a bad feeling, so I'm gonna let one of you take an extra treasure instead of taking one for myself.
Well, you know what? This is the whole reason. Oh, not the whole reason. This is part of the reason I came along. I'm gonna snatch that up. The rich man doesn't need more treasure.
Then you can get all 3 then. I don't really care, but I still get my vengeance.
Hell yeah.
A single kobold comes like just wandering out with carrying some rocks in its arms, and as it sees you, it stops and just stares for a moment before it drops the rocks and starts squealing in alarm.
Shoot it quickly before its alarm gets fully to alert everybody.
Okay, sure. Give me a roll for archery.
Three dice.
And then while he's distracted by the kobold and how do you say your name again, Draken?
Evander.
Evander. While Evander's distracted by treasure, I want to go over and touch the heart.
God, would I want you to roll for this? You kill the kobold before it sets off the alarm, but you know, the patrol of kobolds that are coming out from behind you are like, they're going to turn that corner in a second. Eldon, you run forward and place your hand on the heart. I definitely want you to roll touched by the gods with your regular dice, so that's 2 dice. But I don't know if you have I don't think a skill really applies. I just want to see the result.
I think it's gonna be 0 dice because of the hell thing.
Which means 2 dice and take the worst, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would have, because it'd be 2, then -2.
Yeah, so roll 2 and we'll use the worst. Perfect.
A 1.
I'm going to say you're going to take a stress and an injury. As you place your hand on the heart, the soft flesh of it recoils away from your hand ever so slightly, and then your skin, without any sort of like intention from yourself, sort of like seeps forward off of your muscle and bone to try and like chase after the surface of the heart to connect with it. And as it does connect with it, this black, how do you describe this? You know, you can see like the blackness just sort of spreading out along the vein structure of the heart, and the whole heart goes doo-doomph in a loud echo around the cavern, and the whole cavern just kind of pulls itself in as if it's constricting, and you can feel a great passage of air blow down from this orifice in the top center of the ceiling. And then the kobolds
I wonder
come
what that
running in.
did.
And then the kobolds come running in.
Oh hell no.
So they come running in, and then as they do so, the heart beats again. Doo-doomph. And the kobolds, one of them just like drops his little spear and falls to his knees. The others gaze up at the heart, and they seem to be just ignoring you at this point. And just stricken with awe. Which is what I do.
I want to try to convince them that I woke up the dragon.
I'm contemplating attacking the heart.
Eldon, you can step forward with your calm, usual persuasion. Or are you going for enchantment?
Enchantment. I think since I don't know if they speak the same language as me,
That's probably a good call.
I want to just use it to show them visions of the other world with I guess just a giant dragon.
Sure.
Because why not? Would that be touched by the gods or cunning?
Oh, touched by the gods, I think.
Okay, so that'd just be 4 with the -2.
Oops, I meant to press that.
Yeah, so you reach out, and this isn't something you can physically see, but you can sense it as it's emitting from your being, from your fingertips, and seeping into their minds to transmit the ideas, the images that you're sort of trying to portray to them. The one that was on his knees falls forward with his arms outstretched in prayer. The other 3 are sort of overcome with the enormity of what's happening to them. And you get a sense that this is something they've been waiting for eons, for generations, and now it's finally happening, and they're not even sure how to react. And perhaps you get you can feel the sense with them that they're debating whether this is a negative thing that you've caused, or if you're some sort of like messiah that's returned and ignited this thing that they've been waiting to awaken for generations.
And on that note, I'm gonna attack the heart.
Sure. Obviously, Norman is not in the burrow with you guys, so
Yeah, on the blasted magic.
yeah, okay. Oh hell no.
Hell no, I don't know what he did, but
Dark cloak for the heart here. Yes, I mean, you hurl out your magical concussive force at it, and it smacks into the heart. Perhaps not causing, but simultaneously as it goes for another bubble beat. And you can, as your thing hits it, you can see the indentation in its flesh. You can see that this black mark, this poison, whatever he's planted on it, it's kind of like stretched out and is nearly covering the whole of the massive heart itself now. And there's a sensation all around you as the cave, constricts and condenses by several feet, and then expands in the opposite direction. You can see the rocks between the ribs cracking and crumbling, and you can feel the air in here becoming warmer.
I guess this is the point where Paladin just starts maniacally laughing.
you're gonna kill this thing. Now's kind of your chance here, buddy.
I don't know if this thing is the thing I'm searching for. There's something about it. It's just not picking. That's why I'm sort of writing it, sort of looking in confusion, because this thing is probably the mountain. I can speculate this, but I don't know how it's connected. I'm trying to figure out that.
Maybe the kobolds were trying to summon the thing that you summoned to wake up the mountain.
Why don't you give me a lore master to you just try and look for like a spark of inspiration to figure it out? Your touch by the gods will apply.
So I got 4 in total, 5 for the initial, -2, so 3 dice.
And you don't take fatigue for lore master. Yeah, I mean, you're like, how? This is clearly a danger. how does this tie into what I was looking for? I wasn't looking for like a dragon, a physical being. I was looking for something that was stealing people's souls, something that was, you know, causing the undead to arise, something that was, and then your eyes fall on Eladin. And the creeping sensation that it's been with you all along starts to just dawn on you and unfold and unravel before your eyes. As you can see, Eldon laughing manically, the kobolds, you know, in a pose of worship and awe before him, and the crumbling rock of the cavern around you, you know, falling around them.
That's why I could actually do with the rock. That's why the things makes sense now. The whole rocks, the things, why everyone's going off mad at these things, and I'm not. It's this thing. Look at the sword that I pulled out the sword that I made.
Just put the sword blades. It's positively like humming at this moment. You look over to Eldon, you just see this massive red eye on the back of his head open and blink once at you and then disappear into his head again.
I'm going to stab Eldon with the blade. Right in the head, my usual spot.
My usual spot. Stabbed him many times before.
I've had many people in the head before. We usually
Well,
shoot them, but
I'm going for the weak spot, the head.
Okay.
Seeing what he's doing with my many eyes, I want to try to redirect his blow so he stabs the heart with the evil sword.
Okay, so you doing that is going to give him one less dice than he would normally have because you're hindering his attack. Think when you're rolling, you're going to have touched by the gods. You're going to have your default dice, whatever your skill is for fighting. And then you're going to get an extra dice for the blade.
so it's peasant for 2, 3, 4 for the initial dice, and 5 for the skill. So 5 there, -2 health, 3, and said -1 for his.
Yes, he's hindering you, so it's another -1.
So 2 dice in the end only.
You lunge into him, and he spins around with an unnatural speed and redirects your blow, sending you like spinning, your blade flying through the air, and as it slices through the air, it lands just into the side of the heart. And this thick, vibrant red blood just oozes out, and the heart goes thudum, thudum, twice in succession. The kobolds scream as if just, you know, the worst atrocity has ever been committed before them, and they all just like leap towards you, completely ignoring Eldon.
I guess I'll go over and while they're doing that, I'll go over and try to get the sword and hold it on the heart.
And I'll blast it with magic. I don't know what's going on, but I'm picking the side of the guy who's not crazy.
They're going to leap on you, Runic, so you're going to take an injury. Because you're like battling the 4 of them off. Yeah, give me the roll for the magic. So that's going to be 2 injuries for Eldon, as he's blasted with concussive magic force, which sends him flying across the room, knocking him, you know, far away from the heart and the blade.
It's already too late.
Again, I have no idea what's going on. I'm just not on the side of crazy.
So, Eldon, flying across the room, smack into the rocks, what'd you do?
Seeing that the entire mountain is obviously alive somehow, I'm gonna turn into a bunch of tentacles and slither into one of the cracks in the wall.
Okay, give me the roll for Ultra Self.
Alright.
Jesus Christ.
That's going to win them to your side. Turn into a tentacle monster. Okay, yeah, take a stress from the strain of the situation. But you successfully turn into just like a ball of tentacles. And just slither and slather and wriggle and writhe your way into the crevices and disappear into the dark. Runic, you got 4 kobolds jumping and clawing and biting at you. What'd you do?
So I hold on a wee second, something's happened. Oh,
Evander, do you want to do anything while he's rolling around the kobolds and Eldon disappears into the crevice?
I suppose I tried to get the kobolds off of him.
Yeah, how so?
Shit. I guess I'll just keep hitting them with magic. It's gonna give me my fatigue up, though.
You could also pull out something from your gear, if that would help.
Still, every action I take would still be fatigue, though, wouldn't it?
The dice rolls involved, yeah. If you can be really clever about what you're pulling out your gear, you might be able to pull out something that would help without necessarily needing a roll. Or you could just leave him and run, because you've got some treasure, and this is clearly the end of everybody's story.
I do have some treasure.
I got a giant rhinoceros outside, I'm leaving.
Could I pull out some kind of like reinforced weighted net, like when you try to like capture monsters with nets, you know? Like, I guess like in fantasy worlds they would. It's just all in one spot. Just cover all of them up.
Definitely.
With him underneath them.
But yeah, he would be trapped in the net underneath him as well.
He would, but if they're all stuck in one spot, it'd be a lot easier for me to kill them, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
With like some stabby stabs.
Yeah, just mark his supplies off, put out the weighted net, and you're throwing it. I mean, they're distracted. They are intent on ripping him to pieces.
back.
So Tank, you're going to take another injury. You've got these creatures on top of you biting and clawing into you, and then suddenly you feel the weight of something like draped across you and them, and the 5 of you are kind of like pinned down under this weighted net.
I'm closely stuck to them. I'm just going to start stabbing into each of them as they're stuck around me.
Yeah, give me a roll with your fighting skill. You can have an extra dice because they are literally just like on top of you.
Right, 2, 3 of the skill, 4 initial, 5 of the bonus, -2.
And then Evander, I mean, I don't know if you want to spend another supplies and pull out like a spear or something. Or you can just stab him.
That was gonna be my next thing. I was gonna pull out some kind of like spear, harpoon, or something along like that. And I was just gonna kill them slowly from a distance.
Yes, I mean, he's stabbing frantically, just trying to like do some damage. You come over and a little more sort of precision strikes. You've got them pinned down. There's no immediate danger around you that you can see. You're just like stabbing, lunging forward through the gaps in the nets and spearing them one after the other until, you know, it's just 4 bodies under a net lying on top of your bleeding and injured comrade.
Right, then I would free him after they're all dead.
The heart does another da-dum, da-dum in quick succession.
I got no healing skills for that thing.
I've got healer, but no use at this point just now.
At this point, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing if this heart dies.
The blood...
Oh, don't worry. It's not dying.
The blood seeping out of it like strikes the ground, and as it does so, it just like bursts into flame.
Now this dragon's going to breathe fire and blow up everything in the entire mountain, or he's going to try and destroy and absorb it all.
Well, I mean, he touched it, and now it's like the black poison is in it or whatever. So at this point, maybe they're connected somehow. I don't know. Maybe we gotta kill both of them.
Plus we have to kill both forms, yeah, to stop this thing. I'm just going to see that is it sort of any sort of the thing that's burning on the ground, that is wee lava dripping from the heart that's still sort of searing or anything.
But sorry, there's blood dripping from the heart, and that blood is on fire.
I'm going to take one of the wee fragments of the rock and my arrow and put it into and see if it burns in the lava. Or
Well, it's not lava, it's literally blood, but the blood is on fire. Like it's flaming as if it's oil or something like that. So if you douse your arrowhead in it, it'll be just like having a flaming arrow.
Well, which you already got a flaming sword because your sword's still sticking out of its heart.
That's true, yeah. So if you pull the sword out, the sword will be flaming as well.
no, let's take the sword out at least anyway. Sword now. So
Yeah.
it's got a fire sword.
You pull the sword out, and you can see all around it where it was like sliced into the thing. It's kind of like there isn't blood there, it's cauterized. It's as if the sword itself has burned the flesh of the dragon heart. But you can see the heart itself is covered now in this black venomous toxin that's just like spreading throughout it, and it's now covered the entire surface of the heart and is now stretching up into the arteries that extend from the top of it into the rest of the structure. You can hear chittering and cheering and laughter and crying going on all around you in the different burrows.
My vote's cut it out. Like if it's spreading up, cut off where it's spreading up at, and then cut the rest of it out, and maybe it'll stop whatever's spreading. That's my vote.
Well, either one, kill the dragon, which basically destroys everything here, or it might. But it could also, the fact is, I could end up giving the Eldon more power by killing it.
It could, or, and this is like the only thing I know of. He likes to like reanimate shit. So like the last thing I want to give him is a living mountain.
Well, if he's corrupting it already, I think we're better taking it out. Corrupt any further.
Well, but remember, Eladin's already inside the dragon too.
So
He's
Right, but you didn't touch anything else and spread it. This is the only thing you touched. So like maybe you had to touch this part of it. That's my thinking, in a way.
Try your bolt magic, see if that does anything to the heart. Sort of.
I did it. Like this caused it like some damage, and that was it. Like as soon as he touched it, that was the first thing I did.
I think if I can make anything medicinal, possibly, if I add it into the flames or something, would that help stop the
you got
effect?
supplies
But
and gear you can pull out.
so this might seem like a strange question, but did either of your characters go to the bathroom after they ate last night?
Jesus Christ, dude. Like clockwork in the morning, man. Like clockwork.
I mean,
Just
you
let it
realise
off.
it takes your
Well.
colon like 36 hours to pass things through.
Yeah, so I want to. Can I try something?
Well, let's hear
I
your
wanna try
pitch
to
first.
use- I want to try to use Alter Self to control the parts of me that are inside of Runic to have him cut the heart free from the ceiling.
I think that's a stretch. What I was going to suggest for you is once you're in your tentacle form, writhing and slithering through the different burrows and such, your Dark Elder God, communicates to you that this is perhaps the greatest of offerings, and in an effort to help you succeed in sacrificing it in the way that you would intend, he's going to bestow upon you the power to actually become one with it. And with that, you can feel your tentacles swelling and pulsating and extending and growing. And from this central position that you're in just below the heart chamber, you can stretch out and eventually fill all the burrows.
I'm guessing that just eats all the kobolds that are inside of it too.
Yeah, I mean, you absorb them, crush them as you go. Be a massive Alter Self to just like fill the mountain with your tendrils.
All right, I'll roll. Let's see what happens. Alright, so that'll be -3, so it'll just be the main dice plus the trade touch for the gods.
If it's alter self, yeah. Yes, you Pulsating Swell, but even with your deity's gifts here, it's not going to be enough. You're going to need more biomass in order to pull this off. Or you're going to have to, be somewhere better positioned where you can extend your reach and take control of this thing. So I'm going to say take a stress from the effort.
Alright.
Hey, indecisive goat man, this is your quest. Like, what's the play here?
We find a bit of lava. We put the stones into the lava. That will cause pain to. That should hopefully be able to cause damage to him and force him to come and confront us. There's no way we can find him in the middle of this cave like us. The way he has just now.
So we're just gonna ignore the heart. That's the plan.
If we try killing this thing, all it'll do is give this creature. It'll give him more power. If we kill it.
Because he's worried about it reanimating, right?
Yeah, basically, I can tell that the fact of the heart here, if the more power it's put into it, it'll reanimate the whole mountain and create a bigger beast. Which, if he's inside controls, he will be able to control. But if we kill the heart, it becomes a sacrifice, in which then he'll still take over and and use the body as a husk. So both results basically give him the same thing. The only thing we can do is need to kill Eldon to stop the infection.
Oh no, it looks like the kobolds outside found Norman. You just hear someone saying from behind you.
Trying to use my emotional attachments against me.
Of course, that's how you be evil. You gotta use people's advantages against them.
I think I'm more okay that Norman's not in here with me.
Right, when you find some sort of the lava pits in this place, there'll definitely one somewhere.
Lava, like, what do we need lava pits for?
Something to burn the rocks. The normal fire here probably won't, well, the blood itself might. I'll try one of the samples in the blood that's burning and see if it melts the rock or anything or causes damage to it.
Just use your sword. It's already on fire, dude.
Isn't the blood already melting through the ground, though?
It's not melting through the ground, it's just on fire where it's hit the ground.
Yeah, so... And... How can you tell where I am, though?
Well, that
Can't
depends.
tell
You leave a little slimy trail behind? Tentacle monster you?
Probably just the place where I first entered, since I haven't physically came back into this room yet.
I wouldn't worry about it, he's going to come back for you. You need your biomass.
Okay, right, I'm going to try and see if I find all the bit of the cave we can use to try. I haven't think of some sort of volcanic or lava will be able to melt the rocks, and that should hopefully be able to cause damage to them.
You are stuck on this lava thing, aren't you?
I'm gonna ask. I mean, you're saying this, but like, we haven't seen any signs of a volcano here.
No, true, actually. I'm just assuming that. True. Well, I don't think we have much choice then. We'll have to make enough fire thing to melt the rocks. We'll have to cut the heart and hope the blood itself's strong enough to melt the stuff.
Why do you need to melt rocks? I don't know where you're getting this from.
If I destroy the rock that he's attached to, it'll cause him pain, which gives us advantage to try and catch him.
The rock
No,
is attached to?
I'm inside of the mountain.
Yeah, he crawled
I
into
went
a
through a
crevice.
crack. I'm not attached to a rock or anything.
He got like an ant. He just like disappeared.
No, the magic rocks.
Dude.
That's not. The magic rocks ones that he's connected to.
Oh, you mean the one that you already stabbed into the thing that's on fire, even though it's not melting?
Yeah, I just realised that.
The magic rocks are your weapons. I mean, he has one magic rock in his pocket, but
No, he was trying to cause it harm, like when he was cutting the pieces off in the mountain. Like when he was chipping them off and it was like giving him a headache. That's what he was trying to do. I get it now.
right, okay, yeah, but that was only because you were chipping them off. I mean,
Oh, the
you
main-
don't know that it was causing him pain anyway.
Yeah.
All you know at the moment is your weapon made of the stone has damaged the heart, and now that it's covered in dragon blood, it is like on fire as well. And there is venom, poison stuff affecting the heart at the same time here. There was an influence of Eldon. And then Eldon turned into a tentacle monster and escaped. Or disappeared down a crack in the floor.
I don't have healer. We don't know what kind of poison this is, but like, would like some kind of general antidote? I guess I just pull out like some kind of like, I don't know.
I've got healer.
All-purpose antidote to try and cure the infection in the heart, maybe.
Yeah, you could pull out like an anti-venom, antitoxin thing out of your supplies or your gear. Yes.
Like,
I'd say that's
I've got
just
healer, by the
generally
way.
more supplies, but I mean, if you're short on supplies, I could suppose we can let you use gear.
well, I have one supply because like I told him it might come in handy. So
I'm just thinking maybe supplies for fatigue.
well, I
Use
was
mine
gonna get
already.
fatigue. I was gonna get fatigue maxed out anyway, so that one supply was not gonna be used on fatigue.
Right.
But if it's needed for some kind of antitoxin, that might help. That seems important enough.
Sure. So Evander's like, good thing I brought this, as he pulls out a vial of green liquid.
So can I use healer then to enhance it?
Yes, you'd be applying it to see how successful it is. Yes.
Can I treat this like cancer and just like try to kill it with more poison? Anyways.
Oh, so what you actually pulled out was like liquid uranium.
We burn the cancer out, kill the blood.
Whatever works, I suppose. Some kind of anti-venom, antitoxin, motherfucking.
Yeah,
treatment.
so healing roll will definitely apply.
Right, so healer's 3.
And the anti-venom stuff, antitoxin, will give you an extra dice.
So healer 3, 4 for that, 5 for initial dice, and I'm trying to think of any of my traits.
You can
So
also,
generous will work.
and you can take extra fatigue to get extra dice.
So I said
Would
5
my help-
so far.
what- Could I even assist? Was my assist the venom? The anti-venom.
You can assist as well, yeah.
Alright, I'll do that. It'll give me my fatigue clock will be full.
Helping administer it, or whatever it is you usually do.
Well, do or die moment here, because if he comes back and this doesn't work, I'm fucked in dice rolls anyways.
Well, I'm -3 health, by the way, so I'm -3 dice
That's-
straight away. So
right?
I have
I
to
just-
extra.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see what you guys do before I decide what to do.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if they fail here, you could just, like, pop out have your
They'll be
way with them.
Alright,
That
so
sounds.
on you go. Sorry.
Right, so how many dice we looking at, yeah?
Right, so I lost track there after that.
Alright, dude, let's restart. So you got the healer.
Right, so healers 3, 4 for the bonus, 5 for the initial. Each
6 for him helping.
6 for him helping, 7 for me helping, -3 off that. So 4 dice.
Okay, 4
Wait,
dice
why-
is not terrible.
Any
How
any
are you
traits that
helping
would apply?
yourself?
He pushed himself.
Yeah. If you
Oh,
take-
okay.
And did you take one for the gear as well?
Yeah, he said the bonus. I thought he meant me, but I don't know if he meant me or not.
I
Bonus,
counted your
bonus,
and
track.
anti-venom, yeah.
Yeah, anti-venom, antitoxin, Drac, or Evander, sorry. Pushing yourself, that's 3. Then your bonus dice, then your skill, and then -3.
Any traits that would apply? I don't know if you got any traits that might apply.
Your battle one, probably. Heart of the battle.
What's it?
Because this,
So Heart of Battle, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that would definitely.
So 5.
Bam, 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 and then he feels all of them.
Oh, I wasn't gonna say shit. I wasn't gonna say I had faith in you. I wasn't gonna say we're gonna fail. I wasn't saying shit.
I really wanted you to fail that. See what happened.
Okay, yes, so you successfully apply the antitoxin, you're smearing it, you're pouring it into the wound, slathering it everywhere, and you can hear it hissing as it kind of like evaporates and just sinks into the flesh of the heart. And slowly, ever so slowly, you can see that darkness beneath the skin tone, the flesh of it, fading, and it's gradually spreads out, and it fades more and more. And although it's continuing to spread at the top and tries to fight its way spreading back down the bottom towards the bottom as well, you can see that over time that antitoxin is going to evaporate and destroy all of that venom, that poison that's been injected into it. And you got 3 hits there, so that's going to restore 3 health in the heart. And then the heart goes ba-boom, 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 and takes a regular beat. Spaces between them so close now that it actually starts to resemble the heartbeat of a living creature. The entire cave constricts in even tighter this time. The last remaining rocks between the ribs crumble and fall away, and you can see the heaving flesh between them on the outside. You can see veins and muscle and sinew all around you.
On one hand, I want to stay, make sure Elden don't come back. On the other hand, I don't want to be trapped inside this thing.
Elden, from where you are in the passageway, you can feel the heat of the warm blood of the dragon pumping through its veins once more, and you quickly realise that you are inside one of these veins. What do you want to do?
Well, I know the blood I already know that the blood is basically just lava.
Not how to describe it, but if you want to think of it that way, sure.
I guess I want to make my way towards one of the kobold caverns and try to take the shape of a kobold to disguise with the rest of them.
Okay, so you're going to wiggle your way through to the sound of some of the chanting, screaming, excited kobolds. They're all like vacating the burrows now and get to the outside so they can cheer on this thing as it's coming to life. And you're following that sound through the passageway, wriggling your way through to try and like find one of the kobolds. And then, what you do? And then give me the roll to try and take its form.
Okay. I'll push myself to get an extra dice.
Okay. Yeah, and you're going to take congeal yourself, pull yourself back together into a small ball kind of shape, and then morph and take the shape of this kobold in the passageway.
Yeah, just so I can at least try to escape the mountain.
Taking a little stress as you do that just from there. You can feel your deity, the power of it sort of like fading away from you slightly. The disappointment of its being conveyed to you. You've lost your opportunity. You're not making the most of it. Do you really want this power after all the gifts it has given you, of the life it's given you back to live in its service?
Well, that's great and all, but
And that crushing disappointment is what's giving you the stress. But yes, and you're
all
cool.
right. So that and the fatigue, I'm at 5 health ticks now.
Okay, right.
Jesus Christ.
And you run for run through the passageways and burrows, following the other kobolds out into the outside, the exterior of the mountain. Okay, so you two guys inside the heart chamber. This thing is clearly like coming to life now. What do you want to do?
Well, we've stopped his corruption. We just need to try and put it to sleep now, or kill it. I'm not sure. It's one of the options.
How do you even put something like this to sleep? from this particular position.
Permanently?
Trying to think now. This is the fun part of it.
I'm going to say though, I mean, we're not playing a typical fantasy adventure where you have to be heroes that save the day. It's about survival.
Yeah, well, that's what I didn't. What I was thinking, like, if I unleash this dragon on the world, how much will that affect me personally? That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, could I still just like go live my life somewhere and it'd be okay?
Well, technically, I want to kill this god, so I wanted to use the dragon to do that on my own behalf in a crazed way. But first things first, we kill Eladin. So I'm gonna. I think I'll go use hunting, try and find him, hunt him down.
Okay, follow the slime tentacle trail.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna exit the cave and find Norman.
So you want to give me your hunter roll, and you're just going to get out of there with your treasure.
Yes.
Okay, hunter roll. Let's see. So 4 minus 3 plus my initial dice. So got 2 dice plus the scout, so 3 dice.
I was about to say he's been rolling really well today as well. Yeah, and you peer down the crevice that he disappeared into, and just this gout of flame just comes roaring out, scorches your face, giving you an injury. There's no going down that passageway.
I just need to make my way outside now. I can't fall through.
You take your burned, your just the searing pain of your burned face and turn around, and you can just see Evander bombing it away down the passageway that you came in through.
Well, I mean, I know exactly where Eladin's gonna go.
The two of you come
Yeah,
right. So there you go.
as soon as you guys leave, I'm gonna go back in and have the dragon eat me.
So you two guys come running out the passage where the burrow that you originally came in from. You go tumbling down the slope with the gravel and the dirt. As the whole mountain seems to be becoming alive and moving. You can see like the foothills at the tail end of it becoming a literal tail that like whips up and just sends all the rocks and the dirt flying into the air. The ice cracks and slides down the sides. Avalanches are going off down all different slopes, and the whole thing is surrounded by just hundreds of kobolds that are like jeering and jumping up and down and chanting and dancing. And then there's this tremendous bestial roar, and this huge gout of flame just like goes up into the sky like a massive mushroom cloud as the dragon rears itself to life. What would you like to do now?
Run!
I'll just be with the rest of the kobolds and cheering and
My goal is to get Norman and get out of sight. I don't even know if I want to run. Just Norman being so big, he looked like a tasty snack. So,
Eldon's going to try and blend in and hide with the other kobolds and see where this goes. Evander, you're just like sliding down towards camp where you left Norman tied up.
yep, I'm trying to like, I don't know, get him like underneath like an outcropping or something. Try to get him out of sight.
Yeah,
Me and him.
I think as you slide down there, you can see he's like trying to break the chains that you've tied him up with, because he's like, even he's sensing this is nope time. Just GTFO out here.
Yeah,
And come
I'm right there with him.
tumbling down behind you, face like absolutely red and raw from burns, is Runic.
Shouting, I can't find the bastard. I can't find him.
You know exactly where he's gonna go. There's no point in worrying about it.
I get back to that cave, destroy that thing. I know where it is. I must destroy it now.
Pretty much, like you know exactly where it's at.
The two of you slide your way down, leap onto Norman's back, unhook his chains, and I guess then you're just tearing off in the opposite direction.
Wait, yep, but noping. I'm noping out. Whatever direction the dragon's not looking, that's where I'm going.
Okay, do you want to give me a roll for Norman riding, I guess?
Yeah. I got so many negatives. I don't even get a good one. Oh, thank God.
I think in all the commotion and excitement, the kobolds aren't paying any attention to anything that's going on there, even as this huge rhinoceros comes tearing out from around the corner, and the two of you on its back go flying off. Eldon is the only one who kind of notices off to the side what's happening, but the two of you take off at speed, charging away from this dragon. It itself doesn't seem, it's not turning its head around in your direction to even see what direction you're going off in. It's completely oblivious to your existence.
Thank God. You know, I can still live a long and fruitful life on the other side of the country from this thing.
That's if you guys even survived the trip back with such low health and low supplies.
This is true.
I don't think anyone's making it out alive. So they're tearing off Eldon, you're left here with the kobolds. What's your plan for like how you get out of this situation?
Well, if the kobolds want to make a sacrifice to the dragon to feed it after it's just woken up after who knows how long, Elenon's gonna volunteer as a sacrifice. Just go towards the dragon and just about like prostrate before it.
Yeah, so you step in front of all of them, raise your hands up to the sky, turn back into like your human form, raise your hands up pointing towards it, raise your head up and just close your eyes with a big smile on your face. This dragon the size of a mountain turns its huge head to gaze down at you, and somehow in its age-old wisdom it recognises you for what you are.
And then it just sets him on fire.
Well, I want you to roll something, just to give you the opportunity to possibly pull off what you want.
All right.
But
I'll just roll one dice.
Yeah.
I don't think anything's gonna happen, but
Sure.
let's find out.
Yeah, you're looking up to arms outstretched. You know, you believe in your deity, the power he's given you. Your destiny here is just to be swallowed and then to like take hold of it, and it'll be an almighty sacrifice, and you yourself will ascend. And the dragon glares down at you, rears back its huge head, and just engulfs you in dragon fire, reducing you to smouldering ash in the flash of light.
Yeah, that's about the end I figured that would have best end for Eladin.
That's the insight.
At least he started a cult, kind of. Not really. Does Runic and the rest of the people now see that the cave full of people frozen in the walls now? Since I guess his enchantment broke.
Oh, you break their enchantment? Yeah. If they to venture in there again, yeah. So Runic and Evander, you guys get away from the dragon. You can hear it breathing fire, and you're like, oh, thank God, whatever it's doing, I'm not down there.
Oh my God.
But, I mean, you're out here, you're in the middle of nowhere, with no supplies, very little health, you know, struggling. What's the plan?
Well, I need to try and get to Branch Patch. That's where we need to go.
He wants to go on a long trip to Branch Patch. What about you, Evander?
I need him to help me survive. I don't have any hunting skills. So listen to me. You want to get to Branch Patch. I get that. We need to live long enough to do that. Right?
Okay, so we can take our time and going, right? Try and heal ourselves and whatnot.
Well, right. So
We
like
need to get there.
let's head to the south to the forest. Right? Plenty of hunting ground. Let's like hunt, make camp, hunt, make camp, hunt, make. It'd be like a long journey, okay? But we would eventually make our way back to our home village, and then we could be resupplied and head back up the river straight to Branch Patch. That's like the
Hopefully not all
best.
dead by then.
That's like the best shot we got. If we try to go straight to Branch Patch from here, I don't think we'll make it.
No, we won't make it. No, too far away.
So you guys want to go south, where the hunting is better. And
Yes.
then, slowly, over the course of probably weeks, make your way home.
Right, and we would like travel for a day or two, make camp, hunt, gather as much supply as we can, repeat the process every couple of days. Right? Hopefully. That's like the best plan I can come up with.
Okay.
Because we can't travel far each time we get supplies as it is, so...
Yeah.
Okay, so not counting anything else, if we can have the hunter make a roll and the pathfinder make a roll.
Okay.
Just flat roll, no change to anything.
Just this flat skill.
Yeah, just skill, yeah.
Flat skill. Okay, should we do that now?
Yes. Remember, you always get one dice as well, so you always get that one dice. Oh, God. You're not going to go hungry.
hell.
Your supplies will definitely last. The hunting, stopping will work.
I got a 1. Mine. We rolled at the same time, so I got 1 success out of my roll.
Yes, so it takes a long time. You're constantly having to stop. You get lost several points, back and forth. Let me just count these tiles. Yeah, so it takes like a month to get home. And in that time, it's just been the two of you in the woods. There's a lot of time to reflect. There's a lot of time for animosity to grow, regret. Think about the things you've done, the things you could have done better, mistakes you made. But also what's to look forward to, and what you might fear about the future, having seen what you've seen. When you eventually make your way back to your home village, all that's left is a smouldering ruin. The place has been reduced to ash. There's no sign of life. There's just the scorched bones where people once lay. The fields are gone. The snow and ice around it completely melted. Even the boats in the harbour, which were frozen in place at this time of year, have been completely just burnt to nothing.
Now how are we supposed to get enough supplies to survive?
Well,
That's
you've
the
got
thing.
each other.
Plus, I just did that whole trip for nothing if this old lady's dead.
Yeah, the village is destroyed. Everything's destroyed.
Just wasted like a year of my life.
I feel like, was healing that dragon a mistake?
No.
I think you're left with two choices at this venture. You can either take it upon yourself to go back to Branch Patch, maybe make a life there with the people that remain there, or you can head south to the warmer lands and perhaps claim the fortune the Runic says he has.
Well, Runek's gonna head to south till he kills this motherfucker thing.
Well, I know where the thing lies now, and I know what it sort of a better idea of what it is. So knowing that, going south to go back to his fortune, he can then use that to actually create a proper expedition to actually destroy it now.
Oh, thank God. Yes, that's the plan. I totally agree with that plan.
And with your help, Levander, obviously he'll reward you for helping, and also ask if you'd help continue his quest to get revenge on it all. If you wish to join.
As long as I get treasure, I am okay. Because that's how you survive.
Yep, you'll be
Takes
rewarded
one
with treasure
thing to
for it.
survive. I want a mansion.
So you guys head south, even longer journey before you get to towns. Town after town is destroyed. Eventually you make yourself to the capital city, which remains, its walls high, but the dragon has been terrorising the kingdom, destroying towns left and right, razing farmlands, destroying the food supply. The economy is like in tatters, and they're mustering an army to march and try and slay this beast.
Good for them.
But you survive,
Well-
and you're able to use your money to fund an expedition north if you want.
Yeah, raise the expedition to go north back to Branch Patch to obviously destroy the creature for my revenge.
You spend the time and the money and the preparation, gather mercenaries and supplies, and as we leave you are gearing up for this expedition north to destroy this stone in the mountain and to end the curse on the place in totality. And then the camera zooms away up north to the Branch Patch, where we're in the very end of winter. The first thaw is beginning to happen, and a small child enters the cavern looking for, just exploring. The child makes its way, looking at the strange people that are frozen in its walls, pressing on the strange fingers that are poking out from the floor at various points, and makes its way into the chamber where there are all these frozen people standing around a chipped stone in the centre. In Elodin, you just open one eye from the ceiling of the room as the child wanders in, and just gaze down at it hungrily. As the child reaches out to touch the stone, you just feel a connection with that child's mind.
We've got great things. Great
Ahead of
things
us.
are going to happen soon.
And we'll end the story there.
Jesus Christ. You know what? At least I didn't die this time. At least
Could
least
have
didn't have-
easily.
I didn't have my treasure right on my back and then just die. So I walked in oh, paper, some fire.
Well, Well, I guess that's another. We got two more things we can add to the happening in the world next time. There's a dragon destroying stuff, and definitely not a cult
Oh, the
growing
main
in the
fantasy
north.
game. Yeah, possibly. I've had a lot of dragons in fucking games just now, man. It's weird. I don't usually have dragons in games. It's too cliche.
I think that was my fault when I was playing Jeff.
Oh, I didn't actually mean that one. I mean, that is a generic fantasy one. But my other fantasy one just now had a dragon on the first session. And I had a dragon in another game I was playing the other day. I don't know. I've just been thinking about it lately. But I think as far as like rules go for that system, I like the idea of the questions, learning the characters you go, using that as part of the progression. But I don't think it actually works that well in terms of building a story. Because I actually thought this campaign was going longer, but it was kind of hard when you were just, doing bits of the character like that. Usually, you know what the characters are at the start, and you can build a story around that. You know what I mean? And incorporate elements of their backstory and stuff.
Right.
And it's actually pretty difficult to do that as you go. And you can
I think the hardest part for the story for this one though is we're so focused on micromanaging our resources and statuses that we don't really, or at least I don't really think about the story too much until when we do the campfire thing.
Yeah, it can be quite mechanical. And that was one of my fears about it, was it would end up just being very mechanical.
I kind of like it
I find
myself. I got to build
do
my
like
character
it.
as I played him.
I was going to say I agree with you. What you got? I like sort of like it built up the story rather because, like I said, I only have like a half character developed gods, and it sort of flushed out a lot better. As we went along, like the character, like at first, also that defects, and the very first one, basically, I decided, oh, I'll just kill that thing at the very beginning, and that just sort of flushed out the whole character at that point. This
I mean,
running duel kind of sense.
it works in the sense that it built out the ending, because then I knew where the ending was kind of going to go, where your one character fleshed out things. I don't know if maybe just changing the structure of it a little or something, maybe just to give a little more at the start for the GM. Because I mean, it depends on the type of game you like to run. But I usually like to get people's characters' backstory elements involved in it somewhere, because it's just more interesting for people playing the character then. Because I know I've played in a lot of games where the GM just didn't involve anything in my character's backstory whatsoever, and I always found that kind of disappointing. Especially when things would crop up and I'd be like, "Oh shit, this is going to be a thing about something in my backstory," and then it wasn't. Do you know what I mean?
Well, so we get that first trait for free, right? Like when you make a character, you get the trait.
Yes.
So how about we make that like you go ahead and answer one of your questions, so that way you have something you know about each character before the first session even starts.
Yeah.
So that would help you
Yeah, it's sort of
build
like your
something.
meet and greet camp sort of type idea.
Yeah,
Like, first thing you're at this one campsite and you're telling each other a wee story to build your trait.
I can even make the first question like a specific one, which is about like related to kind of like their drive or their goal or something like that.
Right.
And then that gives a foundation for the direction of things.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, that makes sense.
One thing I found that was quite awkward, right, was obviously because you're really worried about your health when your health hits, because the fact you lose dice very, very quickly, is when you do sort of your longer journeys, you're basically completely screwed by the time you get to the end of your journey. If you're doing anything longer than like 5 days, anything longer than 6 days, by the time you get to somewhere, that's you're practically screwed in terms of things, because your fatigue thing just runs very, very quick up. Like 4 fatigue, basically, you're by the time you hit your 4 fatigue very quickly.
Maybe if it was something like when you made camp and rested successfully, you got all your fatigue back.
Probably in a sense, because by the time because think of it this way, after you've made your camp, you've got all that and stuff, then you're going for a hunt and actually lost the fatigue straight away, so you're back down to like basically struggling to get another 3. You got maybe like 2 more actions, because if you hit the third action, that's you got your health tick, you got another health tick. I think 4 for fatigue's just a bit too small. It restricts the amount of risk that you can do. If you have like maybe just like 2 more, it would expand maybe a bit more ideas. Like you could risk a little further before you know you're going to hit your health tick. Especially
Yeah, but I think that was.
I
I
think it's
think that was
because
partially our fault though, because we didn't stop and rest on the journey. We just went straight to where we were going. Because
Basically.
couldn't we have just?
we could have went
Oh, sorry.
halfway and then like stopped and hunted. But I get what he's saying. He's talking about like it's like say we made it to the mountain and there's no problem. We have 0 fatigue. We're all good. But now like we're limited in actions is what he's saying. Like if something we only have 4, we can make 3 rolls technically, and that's it.
Yeah.
We can't make that 4th one or we're gonna get a health tick.
So maybe instead of marking fatigue every time you make a roll, maybe you mark a fatigue every time you make a roll and it's not like a full success.
That would work. I think that would be better. So like if you get like a
Yeah.
partial success, you mark a fatigue, or if you just straight out fail, then you mark a fatigue.
Yeah.
I think that would make more sense, yeah, because then it feels that if you're successful quite a bit, you're not losing a lot of actions.
Yeah, you got momentum for it. Because I was trying
There's
to,
like-
I was thinking about kind of leaving that before with like being able to store up your extra dice from when you were successful at the start, so that later on you could use them. But that's also more micromanaging stuff.
I have an idea.
The fatigue and cold was a lot like to me because like the first time we played, every time you rolled, you had to take cold too, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna die from cold quickly.
What about since we didn't really use stress that much? What about changing it so that when you cast spells, it uses stress instead of fatigue?
I mean, it just depends on the situation. I was thinking, well, stress have specifically written when someone else gets injured or killed, or you've gone a whole day with like traveling, you would take stress. So yeah, I mean, I can maybe just like reword that the conditions that actually make you take stress. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense if you're casting spells or engaged in like social roles that it would be stress you would take as a consequence instead of fatigue. Because even like when you're doing like the lore master, and I was saying don't take fatigue for it, maybe you just take stress for it when you get it wrong, or when you don't fully succeed it, rather than taking fatigue.
That would work.
So then there's still a cost to it, but it's just for a different set of skills.
That would work too when we're trying to like get supplies from towns and stuff. Instead of taking fatigue to roll persuasion, you would just take stress if you
Yeah,
fail.
you're taking stress because it's from negotiations and bartering and all that kind of stuff.
And the same idea, if you fail, that's it. You've got to take the stress from basically being worse, and then
Well, I'm thinking more. It probably comes into more for the partials because you just take the stress as a consequence, but you still succeed. And if you failed outright, you're not taking stress or fatigue. You're just like feeling it because that is, the downside. You don't succeed in it.
Right. Yeah,
Or maybe,
okay.
or up to GM's thing, you might still succeed, but you take like extra fatigue or extra stress.
And I think a lot of it too was like we weren't using our imagination enough to figure out ways to get around fatigue. Like at the end, I finally was like, well, shit, if I just trap them still, would it still take me fatigue to kill them because they can't move anymore?
Yeah, I mean, we very rarely were really dipping into the supplies to resolve situations, but maybe that's because I haven't specifically written that way, saying that you can have that option.
Well, I think it was more like we couldn't even keep supplies up. Like we kept taking long ships, so we never even had that much supplies left
Yeah.
over to begin with.
And
Gear though.
gear is what I meant to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe say like in place of a roll, sometimes you can just like use gear, and it allows you to do something.
I think that was just
would
more.
work better.
Yeah, I think that was more our part as players failing than the system. We weren't taking advantage of what we had. We didn't really know how. I
Well,
guess.
I mean, if you don't know, that's just because I haven't conveyed it properly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was using the concept of gear for like getting like fur or something like, or for a rope, so we can actually do a certain action. And then obviously that thing expires basically in a sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like a one-use thing. So, I mean, like you're going across a canyon, you've got a rope, so you spend supplies, and then you get across it. So there's not a rule associated with that. You can just do it, and you get across it, and it's done. I mean, sometimes you're going to want people to roll for it and stuff like that, but maybe leaning into more like the gear can be a substitute for a roll in certain circumstances, and it encourages them to use it up.
Yeah, I think that would.
You can also
Like say if you're fishing, you would use like gear for the fishing pole, and that would be what you're using.
Well, if you're like really low in fatigue and you want to like gather supplies, you can maybe just like use the gear to fish, like, but you don't use a fishing rod then. Maybe you just have something like a fishing cage or
Okay.
something.
A cage or a net.
Yeah,
something
something passive, and then you're like, I'm not using my fatigue because I'm just going to sit and rest while that's fishing for me, and you could do it that kind of way.
Setting up a trap with the gear and then just leaving it and checking it later.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Because you're like, okay, I'm going to go have a rest and actually gain fatigue while that's doing that for me. instead of doing a roll and things like that. But then the trade-off is if you did a roll, there's more opportunity to get extra. Whereas if you're doing it by gear, you're only going to get a return of like 1 or something like that.
So you're only walking one tick to another tick, basically box in a sense.
Yeah, it
Well,
counts as like a hit.
Yeah, and that would pay off in some situations. Like I don't need to roll. Like I really need to rest, so I'll like just let it do passively.
Yeah.
At least I get that back.
And I mean, you're trying to think of reasons to use gear, and that way it gets you being more kind of inventive and creative with it as well.
Right.
Perhaps. And then
Way
put
to
the health
encourage
down.
that.
Sorry, and then the other thing, put the health down to 4 ticks instead of 6. So it's actually easier to die, but there's less of just being dragged out when you're useless.
Yeah, because like if I was at 3 and I was like, if I get the 4 and I only get 2 dice on some of these rolls, I was like, there's no way. I was
Yeah, I
still
was one way
6
from that.
dice. Yeah, I was at 3 health ticks. I was like, if I get the 4, I'm fucked.
You guys saw what happened to me. I was at 3 as soon as we went to the mountain.
Yeah, you hit 4. You're like, oh, -4. I was like, oh fuck. Jesus.
I mean, it didn't help that you became the bad guy.
Yeah, but that just makes me feel like we need to do another evil campaign at some point.
Oh,
I don't think I have played the campaign with you yet, Alex. When you want some kind of evil character
This is true,
passively or
but
something.
I
What
can't
about the paladin?
I
The
didn't
guy
play
who
with you.
sent in.
I didn't play with you in that one.
Oh, you're right.
No,
We did go in characters though.
every game me and you have been in, you've been some kind of bad guy. So far.
Listen, most of the games I run, the players are the fucking bad guy. Unintentionally or otherwise.
Wait, Jeff wasn't a bad guy. Was he?
He wasn't a bad guy because the rules of the game stated you had to be heroes. So you skirted that line very well.
Oh, like so he was just the. Oh yeah, I guess I did steal a lot of stuff, but I didn't.
Literally,
anyone.
literally walking around like it's Skyrim, just lifting everything.
You technically weren't in the last ATE one. You weren't technically a bad guy. You did come back as a zombie and tried to bite us, but you weren't technically a bad guy.
This is true. He wasn't technically a bad guy.
Yeah, he wasn't full on fucking deviant like he was this time.
Well, I did steal the rock that brought people back to life as zombies, though. So I guess that was kind of an evil decision.
Yeah, he likes to steal stuff.
It looks so shiny. Just take it with me.
Just take it.
That's definitely a player thing as well, though.
I can't. Yeah, I can't say anything. I do that too.
You
My character's
literally have a
kinda-
character in the other game whose whole thing is
That's his
stealing
whole job. Yeah, that's my whole job.
Oh, no, Draken's still alive, isn't he?
Yes,
Or
I am. Dragon.
So,
yeah, he's still
We
alive.
need a game where Jeff and Drak are in the same party.
Well, of this game, of course. But yes, I have a scenario for that setting where the heroes have literally got to like steal something. That's like the whole. They've got to steal one of the tablets, and it's down involved where the ninja clan and that kind of stuff is in the setting. So that one would work out really well for that.
Jesus Christ. I like playing the same character though. At least I get more and more story added onto it.
Oh, I mean, I'd like I've done 5 seasons of that fantasy one now. Every year I'm going to come back to that at that time of year, sort of October, November, December. I think a lot of my games are going to become annual.
I think this test one was a lot better than the first test run. Like hammering out the nails, I should say, in a way.
Yeah, definitely. And it obviously got a little tweaking more to do.
And now you just need to find someone to do art for the characters, and then
Oh, I'd no bother with that. Just put the rules out, man.
you don't want to have like animation on your YouTube channel.
Oh, I mean, that would be the dream. But nobody's... You. I'm not Disney. I'm not going to hire like a sweatshop full of people in the Philippines to animate 2-3 hours of people talking. But yeah, I'll probably need to do another test run this, I think, with tweaks before I'm happy with putting it out. But that's fine because I've got so much stuff I want to put out anyway. Because I actually did think this one would go on a bit longer.
I did see that armor wasn't really used at all. Really, I think that's something that's just is not going to really come up.
I had it. I just never got hit after I picked it up. Like after I picked it up, I never like failed a roll where I got attacked because I picked it up so late in the game. Most of my rolls were succeeding by then.
Yeah, the armor might just merge into gear. Really. I mean, the armor is merged into gear. You declare a gear as an armor, and then that gives you armor. But you kind of want to do, I suppose you really want to do it before you get into battle. No, but you could do it during the battle. You know what I mean? If you don't want to take that injury. But you
Right,
guys
yeah.
were taking injuries, and you seem fine with it.
Well, I was okay with it until like if it never hit 3, I'm okay with any of my clocks getting to 2. That was okay with me. When they got
Yeah.
to 3, that's when I was like, I might want to try to like negate this somehow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, I think it's maybe just about conveying it to the player. But it's hard to fit a lot of stuff in the sheet. I think the questions need to be on their own separate sheet. You give them more room to play with, design-wise.
Well, and for me, I don't want to negate every part of the game by like, oh, I'll just use size, or I'll just use gear, or I'll just do that. Like sometimes
Mhm.
I'm okay with taking consequences because it helps build up to something.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's another way to drain the gear off the players. Do you know what I mean? Going, hey, you
Right.
can avoid injury, but you're draining your gear. And that means you're going to have to take more debt next time you get to town. Which means you're going to have to push yourself out to get more treasure. That's the kind of idea is the whole thing that, as the clocks are filling up, it's pushing you more and more to go harder for it.
I actually got through this one. I actually completed the game. I had no debt and 3 treasures.
Well, I mean, if we'd actually let you do all the individual rolls at the end for getting home, I'm pretty sure you would have died.
I'd have died. Yeah, this is true.
But
Well, I
that's...
don't know. Now I only had 3 health ticks, so like if it was like a 8-day or 10-day journey or something,
Yeah.
I don't. It'd have been close. If we'd had to actually try it out and see, I might have died for sure.
The one thing, though, I didn't expect was I think it actually needs, like, a hex map to work well. Because you need to know how long your journeys are. And to visualise that kind of works best in something like a hex map.
Yeah, I like that because like I knew like each hex was a day or
Yeah,
days from
it's just a
normal,
really
so-
easy way to look at it and say, yeah, that's the journey I want to do. That's not a journey I want to do.
I think
Yeah,
we
so-
also need more spells because
I think you need less spells.
well, this all started off. I just wanted to be able to control trees. I didn't want to be able to bring stuff back to life or create monsters out of houses.
Yeah. I'll maybe pick a... Do I
Or
not have a
maybe-
control element when they are, and you could just have the element be nature? That would cover it for that particular
Well,
thing.
instead of like reanimate objects, you should have just did like an animate object. So like you make anything that doesn't move. That's not alive technically.
I mean, I was also being generous because figuring reanimate originally was like golems, things you'd actually constructed, not just things that were kind of haphazardly, loosely arranged. But yeah, the spells could do some rework.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
but-
then if you have control nature, you could have blast and barrier is all part of that, or maybe merge
honestly
barrier and
though, I
shield.
kind of wanted to go for like a low fantasy, so I didn't want lots of people taking spells, which was by my attention not have a lot of them. But I maybe like cut the number of spells in half and just made them more kind of broad, vague, so people can like tailor them. Because I don't really want emphasis on taking spells and magic. I kind of wanted to be more about the survival aspect.
I think it worked pretty good. Like there was like just basic spells. Like, it wasn't nothing advanced. I thought like you put up a wall or you blast a
Yeah.
like blast of ice or air or something like that. There's no like. I'm not like creating fine objects here, opening
Yeah.
portals or somewhere.
It's tricky. But yeah, I mean, I was concerned about the game become too mechanical, because although I like the gritty survival aspect, most games that do that is like Zweihander and shit like that, where you're like literally counting. It's very simulationist, and you're counting everything, and it's a lot of like bookkeeping, and that's not fun. That doesn't really speak to me as being like gritty survival. That's just like bookkeeping. I know what it's going for, but I just don't think it captures it really well. So I was hoping something a little more simplified, but still fairly mechanical, just a bit more abstracted would kind of work.
Well, I feel this one works really well. I enjoyed playing this one, how it sort of worked.
Oh, I mean, I really enjoyed the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, I like this one.
Yeah, so I think the next 3 weeks are penciled in for Dead West. So if you want to play on the Sunday, we'll play a Dead West one. And then after that, we'll get on to Pokemon.
I'm busy for the next 2 Sundays, so...
Well, that's fine. You can just miss them. I mean, it's not a big deal. I'm just going to run them if there's people to run them for.
Well, I'll be back for the Pokemon one anyway.
Yeah. So Pokemon, the first session we'll do just like a session 0, establish what we want, what we don't want. quick going over the rules, make sure it kind of works more or less the way it's intended to. And then the week after that, we'll start doing like an actual proper campaign for it, and it'll probably be about as long as this one, depending what the story's like. I don't know if Phil's going to play in it. He said he wanted to. I don't know if he's free on Sundays, but I guess it's like a month away, so we'll see. I don't know if there's anyone else that would want to jump in on a Sunday for Pokemon. There's a lot of weebs in Discord. I don't know how many you'd like to play.
I can't say anything. I'm one of those said weebs, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing Neo. I don't know how much more weeb it gets than that.
Listen, yeah, you three are you three are playing a Pokemon game. That's you are the weebs. You're not the only weebs. There's plenty more in there.
Oh, Dark, are you okay with the magic item I picked? The coin that does things if you flip heads or tails.
Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah.
I'll think up a list of a few things and send it to you.
Sure.
Speaking of that, have you guys watched Supernatural? Like any of you?
Yes.
It's probably popular. So
Yeah.
you know the lucky rabbit foot that gives you like really good
Yes.
luck, but it also like kills you. I found something like that for my lucky item.
Oh yeah.
Or my supernatural
The
item.
monkey's paw type thing, man.
Right.
Well, I was thinking like a coin. Whoever flips it, if it's heads, it does something really good, but if it's tails, it does something really bad. But every time you flip it, the bad things get worse and worse, and the good things get not as good.
That might be kind of difficult to track, because you're trying to determine something is worse than the thing before. Well, making it worse, actually, is fairly easy, but making something less good is kind of tricky.
I wouldn't make it less good because then people would like stop flipping it after a time or two because it wouldn't be worth the risk, you know. But if it stayed the same but the risk kept increasing, then you'd be more likely to keep flipping it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it should just be like randomized. I'll have like a table or something about how good it is.
So like set up like a D20 table, and
It's not even that much. D10 or something
just-
simple, man. Yeah, and just have like the more successful it is, the better the result for you, or the worse the result in the case of it going bad.
all right.
Because then you could be like, oh, I really need luck. I'm bleeding out. I've got a bullet in my heart. This is it. We're on last legs. We need a win here. And you flip it, and it's a success. And you're like, yes. And you turn around, and then there's like $1. Yay!
So what? One of the options is just heal you. The other is just find a little bit of money.
Yeah, pocket change is going to be the minimum.
All right.
Turn around, there's like some kind of world class treasure behind you, or you turn around, there's a silver dollar.
Oh, I just thought of one of the bad ones can be, you have a hole in your pocket and you lost something.
Yeah, I got the key right. Oh shit. Cut to someone like 2 miles down the road going, hey, look, a key.
I wonder what idiot dropped this.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the Dead West one we'll see. If you two guys, I think my wife wanted to play, I don't know if she's going to play on a Sunday though. Your brother and Fez were interested in playing, but they're just really unreliable.
Yeah, they're very. You never know when Zach's gonna be asleep or
Yeah.
if Fur
totally.
is entranced by another game.
I almost didn't know if I was gonna make this one. I got fucking COVID Tuesday. I just started on bed yesterday, thank God.
It's a pretty pretty quick recovery.
Oh, it was that way for me last time too. Like I felt like shit for like 2 days when I had COVID, but then like after that it was just like mild symptoms.
Right. I've still never caught it.
I wouldn't recommend it. It's not like it's bad or anything. I just hate being congested where I can't fucking breathe.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the thing. People are like, oh, even the people that they believe it's just like a flu, and it's like, I don't like catching the flu. You feel like shit for fucking 2 weeks, man.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be sick. Is that such a weird thing? Well, I'm glad you guys like this. I'll do some tweaks, and hopefully the next time the run's even kind of smoother, and maybe get a bit more story arcs out of it. But God, who knows when that'll be? My year is like booked up for games at the moment.
I know being an adult sucks. People aren't free most days, but the weekends.
I mean, I'm running 2, sometimes 3 games a week. I can't complain.
I mean, yeah, that's a
And I've been
busy schedule.
Yeah, and I've been working on my video game in between, so I don't want to do too many other games that will distract me from doing that either.
Yeah, I've been seeing you be posting your updates on that thing.
Yeah, it's great. Nobody notices. I've not done
I know.
anything visual really yet. So it's next month is when I add in all the visual stuff, and that's when I'm going to start really try to advertise it.
So I see when you post in the your little dev Discord there.
Oh yeah, DevLogCon. Yeah, I just do that as a kind of motivation thing as well. So that every day I can go like I've done something. Yeah, I'm going to finish that for my 40th and hopefully release it in like October, I think. Because you need a couple of months advertising, i.e. posting on Reddit.
I posting on Reddit. Yep. You get you some pocket change on that, you know.
If I make back the money I'm spending on it, I'll be happy. But I've got a... This is really scary. I've told my wife I've got like a 10-year plan of like putting one out every year. So by the end of it, hopefully you've got enough that you're kind of like earning a living off of it. Which for me is terrifying because I do not plan things ahead.
You just fly by the seat of your pants.
I feel like you plan that far ahead, you're going to die like next year. You're tempting failure.
Yeah.
You're just gonna procrastinate until
Well, that's what I
right
had been
before you want
doing,
to finish
and I
it.
hadn't died yet, so it was working out for me.
It's working out. Yeah, he's like, well, you guys said what could go wrong, and then you fail every roll, so you know.
Exactly.
He's like, I'm not going to tempt fate that way.
Again, that was a lot of successes that game. You did the balance was definitely working in your favour the last two games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think as
You
soon
know-
as I became evil, you guys started getting all my good
As
rolls.
soon as you killed him,
As soon as I killed him, I took my luck back.
all you had to
That's
do
how
was kill and sacrifice a player, so he was onto something.
We found the mystery.
all right. You know what to do.
Yeah,
next.
my last big success was when I killed that giant.
Oh, I mean, I thought that dragon heart was half dead, and I thought you were going to get the dragon, and then you were going to have to, well, probably just die to the dragon, because you would have control of it.
Yeah, I thought for sure we were dead. I was like, if this don't work, we'll just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, it was a rock or a hard place decision. It's either one, you let loose the dragon and it destroys it, or two, we let him get control of it.
Well, I mean, I came in today and I was like, there's no way I'm going to let everybody walk away happy. Like, there's got to be a conflict and somebody's got to lose.
At least we lived sort of this time.
Hey, there might be a dragon running around destroying towns, but my guy has come up in life. Okay, I now have a lot of money and a mansion. Supposedly, I'm gonna get a mansion for this. I'm way ahead.
The
of
only
where I
cost
was.
is that everyone you know is dead.
Who? Fuck them. I don't care about them.
I
What
think we
they ever do for
established,
me?
yeah, I think we established his character is extremely bitter,
Yeah.
twisted.
What?
He's so jaded. He just doesn't give a shit about people anymore.
All I know was I didn't want Eldon to get the dragon because I have killed him, and he might hold a grudge about that. So,
Oh, and Norman lived.
and Norman lived. Yes, I now have my pet Norman, the only one who hasn't betrayed me.
I was so ready to take Norman away from you so many times, but you made all your rolls.
What the fuck? You're gonna kill him off? I feel like one of my riding rolls or something?
I was so ready to have him like injured and turn on you as well, but you totally succeeded the rolls every time.
Norman was determined to live.
No one
You
wants
see
to
the art for it now.
live.
He's gonna outlast you all.
I'm okay with that too. I'm gonna leave everything to him in my will and testament.
Gold-plated rhinoceros, man.
Uh,
Yeah, but yeah, I really enjoyed that, guys. That was a good campaign. Short as it was.
it was still, what, 7, 8 sessions long?
8 sessions. Is that including session 0? I can't remember. Actually, maybe more then. I can't remember if I split the first one up into 2 videos or not.
Probably sure it was 8 or 9. That's how many levels I got out of it.
Yeah, I mean, most of my campaigns now were kind of this length. That was something I was getting worried about as well. My campaigns were getting shorter and shorter, and my playtime was getting shorter and shorter, but I wasn't feeling like we were doing any less. We were just more efficient with it, do you know what I mean?
Right.
Which is, I mean, I like mini arcs because you get a conclusion. But, yeah, I don't know, I was feeling like well, maybe they're getting too short because then people will be like, well, where the fuck is the game, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm just happy as long as I can be a character who's just straight up evil instead of ambiguously evil.
Jesus.
Well, Dead West, you could definitely be a bad guy because you are literally outlaws stealing gold. So, Dead West, you can really lean into that, I think. Pokemon, probably not so much.
I hope not. You know, not Pokemon.
I like Pokemon. I don't want to be bad.
Well,
Yeah, I can't really think of a way to be evil unless we're just part of one of a team.
the teams.
I mean, you could
I was
develop.
challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like when I think of Pokemon, I'm not trying to play a Pokemon campaign and be evil. Like this is not the first thing that pops into my head.
You say that, we'll see what you're like by the end of it.
Or if I fail one of my goals, I might turn out bitter again. So we'll see.
Fuck this, Gengar, we're going to town.
You just end up mind controlled by a random psychic or ghost Pokemon.
Oh, we're going to find so many ways. Imagine, no, everyone, you must become my colleague. That's
One thing,
no?
I mean, before, if you could tell me this before we even do the session 0, if you could just put it in the Pokemon channel, is tell me like your favourite Pokemon, because I need to do like the intro sequence for the videos, and I wanted to have everybody's name with like their favourite Pokemon, and it does like, you know, when the battle screen comes up and they slide in from opposite directions. I was going to have like your name slide in next to the Pokemon.
I got mine for you. I can tell you right now.
Well, if you post the things, I won't remember.
Okay.
All right, I can post mine right now too.
Yeah, you really are weebs.
I
know
don't
mine.
think of mine.
I actually know mine as well, so never mind.
Sit back down at my computer.
Alright, I'm going to get off now. I'm going to go back to watching Sopranos.
All right,
I'll catch you all later.
Okay, like, guys. Sure.
later.